Welcome to Snowmobile Sessions Live on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. It's the #1 destination to learn about snowmobiling, network with other sledders, and have an awesome time doing it. We'll meet other snowmobilers that share your passion and show your fan photos along the way. Snowmobile Sessions Live. Enjoy the ride.
This episode of Snowmobile Sessions Live is brought to you by Energy POWERSPORTS. They're Oakville's full-line BRP dealer with sales and service to all BRP models and so much more. Energy POWERSPORTS always has the fun in store with a wide selection of clothing, parts, and accessories for all your powersports passions. Make Energy POWERSPORTS your source for Can-Am off-road, ATV, and side-by-sides. Can-Am on-road Riker and Spider, including the sporty F3S. Sea-Doo watercraft and Switch pontoon boats. And Alumacraft fishing boats powered by Mercury Marine. Put yourself on a Manitou pontoon or a Widescape stand-up snowmobile. Energy POWERSPORTS is the home for Lynx and Ski-Doo snowmobiles for the entire family. Do you feel the energy? Energy POWERSPORTS, 879 Cranberry Court, Oakville, Ontario, or online, energypowersports.ca.
He's new.
And also, don't forget, fan photos are brought to you by Fast Track Snowmobile Traction and exclusive snowmobile sessions offer, fasttrack.co. You're going to learn more about that when we get to the fan photos. And you deserve better, don't you? Tired of dealing with your worn out carbides and scratchers that just won't scratch your itch? You deserve better. It's time to upgrade your ride with QUALIPIECES. QUALIPIECES is a leader in specialized snowmobile accessories, bringing you innovative products that solve the everyday problems we all face on the trails. From the durable, long-lasting carbides, ice scratchers, and their ingenious roller skis, QUALIPIECES has refined quality and performance. With rigorous testing and an eye for detail, QUALIPIECES ensures every part meets the highest standards so you can enjoy a smoother, safer ride. Have a taste of their specialized carbides at QUALIPIECES.com and take your snowmobile to the next level. That's it for the little app promo spots until we get to the fan photos. We have Greg Wright from Caliber here. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Busy. How are you guys doing?
Oh, I enjoyed you at 8 days. I got the t-shirt on here. This isn't the one I had on that day, but got some really good feedback on the video that we put on the two new products that we're going to talk more about tonight. But you how many years have you gone to Heydays?
Oh, this year was probably my 10th year minus the COVID years. So we had one or two off. So probably like 8 in total, I think, somewhere in there.
Nice. What was it like in your mind? That was our first one. What do you think as far as, did we get a good one to experience, or have there been better?
It's a great question. I think the first year after COVID probably would have been like the busiest because people were trying to get back out. I know last year was pretty busy. I think that was the first year that the border was open or reopened, I believe, for everybody to come across. But it was this year was crazy. We were so busy. Obviously we released and launched quite a few new products for 2024, and I think that kind of helped with some of the traffic in the booth. But we were so busy. I mean, it was hard for us to get out of the booth at any point in time, through the weekend, which is a good thing, right? But I think overall feedback was strong.
Yeah, you had a great spot there. I love your whole setup was awesome with the flooring you had down. Really showcased your product well. The side-by-side strap down was really cool too. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. And I got to thank you so much for coming on the show. Caliber, I think I said to you at the show, like, Caliber is a known name in snowmobiling. And I mean, everybody, they get a trailer and what's the first thing they do? They put in snowmobile guides, right? And then the addiction grows from there.
we hope. Yeah. If we don't get it at the OEM or the manufacturer level, that's really the next step, right? Is at the dealer.
Yeah, that's cool. Where did Caliber start? Like, what's its roots?
So the roots go all the way back to the mid 90s. So the company is privately owned. It's still owned by the same guy that started it. But the company Caliber actually started in 2006, and the owner of the company was one of the people on the original snowmobile glide patent. So that's kind of where it snowballed from. But basically the late 90s is where it primarily started, but then Caliber was actually started in 2006.
Right on. How many products you got under your wings right now?
Oh, that's a great question. Consumer package products, we have about 100, but we also work in several different industries. And we also have a sister company that does primarily custom molded rubber products, and they also do some custom plastics as well.
Right on.
But
That's pretty cool.
all in all, I mean, between both companies, probably thousands. We have thousands of products.
That's wild. Well, you
Yeah.
sent me in a bunch of
Yeah.
photos, which we will get to tonight,
Yeah,
showcasing
perfect.
some of these. And I did pick out some images of the ones I recognized
Okay.
from the other. You said just pick some other shots and we'll
Yeah.
talk about it. But
Yeah.
we got quite a few people in the house tonight. We'll just go through them
Okay.
here. Do you want to go have the honors? Drew?
Yeah, sure. Let's just scroll through here. So Rob Overholt's in the chat tonight. Just fly low. Denon Oosterman says, evening, everyone. Chris Watson in the chat again. He's becoming a regular face around here. Olive Garden Gnome. Hello, everyone. Pumped for tonight. Flow 2004. Mike Gulick's Motorsport channel, of course. Uncle Buck in the chat. Outdoor Hobby Guy says, good evening, gentlemen. Corey Brock, of course, moderating, keeping you guys in check. Jacob Massard, of course, as always. Who else do we got?
Jacob had a good question here. He said, what kind of deal did Gary's friends get? Laugh out loud. I got a new trailer.
Well, that's a great question. That might be something we can coordinate after the show.
There's a lineup here. Greg Kelly says he does too.
Oh, I forgot Greg Kelly's in the chat tonight.
Yeah.
All Terrain TV just popped in, and one
DC from Muskoka. Yeah. Corey Brock got the new dollies too, Greg. He liked them. He told me on the weekend. Yeah.
The Rovers, the Rover dollies.
The Rovers,
cool.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, very cool. We're going to see more on that. And All Terrain TV, Bobby OGT. They're starting to roll in now for sure.
Perfect.
But that's very, very cool. But
the point scheme must still be in the hot tub right now.
Yeah, that's right. But we get them from all corners of the
perfect.
Of the globe.
Hey,
that's
however anybody wants to consume the content, whether it's from the garage or from the hot tub, let it happen.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Where do you find people? Like, what is the problem that you find that Caliber solves for people? What is the most common thing you hear when you're at these events?
A lot of it's mobility issues, right? So when it comes to loading and unloading power sports vehicles, the largest problem is going to surround snowmobiles, right? Carbides and studs. They're not easy on things. They tear things up, obviously. So the biggest thing is just the efficiency and the safety of the loading and unloading operations.
Yeah, nice. And what kind of products do you kind of fit into the groove? Like, I know I did a video on some of the products years ago, and it was almost like trying to find the best combination and value. I mean, and you have products that are high end, but you also have products that you kind of, if you want to, I call it the frugal doer, right? If you want to get into the on the baseline, here's a solution for you. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, certainly. So we have products that are all the way from, like you said, almost a segmented installation where it can be spaced out from a cost economical standpoint. Both traction and glide options or protective options for the trailer. But then we do have full coverage options that protect, front to back, side to side, where you're not going to have any bit of the trailer exposed. One thing that we really like to talk about is our product is an investment, but the primary investment is the vehicles that you're loading and unloading and the trailer that you're loading and unloading them onto, right? Between those, the costs are going to significantly outweigh the costs of our products. But when you start talking about the investment and where the money is actually being spent, those are the primary places. So protecting the trailer, protecting that investment, and then also protecting your vehicles when you're loading and unloading, so you don't have any mistakes happen during the loading and unloading process. We don't want to become a YouTube sensation.
Oh, for sure. Viral overnight. Mike Galitz from the Motorsport channel says, do you have something for the garage? His garage, like
garage floor,
garage flooring. I mean, he has dirt bikes and snowmobiles.
Okay. So we do. It's actually, I'm sure we'll talk about it today, is Protek flooring. It's a new product for 2024. It is a snap together trailer flooring that can also be used for your shop or your garage, right? So we've had tons of conversations or tons of requests from consumers over the last couple of years is, I load and unload my side-by-side, my snowmobile, my motorcycle. I use it for hauling and transport and storage. Can I have something that is a full coverage solution? And it's something that we've looked at for several years now. But more or less the product, like we said, is it's a snap together flooring that is purpose built for your trailers from a dimensional and installation standpoint, but it's also functional for garages, shops, cold storage, basements, basically you name it.
Right on. I'm just on with Odie guy, and he just sent me some last minute photos. I'm just going to fire those over to Drew here, and then he can get going. What do you where do you see Caliber going, like as far as the direction? Do you have any new insights and the direction where you're heading as far as products go? I know you're big in the ATV and side-by-side world. What about other power sports or motorsports for that matter?
Yeah, great question. So from a power sports standpoint, we also do quite a bit for the marine industry that a lot of people don't see. A majority of our marine components are OEM direct, so you'll find them on different marine trailers across the industry, whether it's bow rollers, keel pads, tube caps, end bells, and stuff like that. Tons of different injection molded and rubber components. So we still have a pretty strong focus on marine products. That's still a pretty important industry for us. It's still a significant portion of the business. And we're also expanding into off-road. So we're developing more products in the off-road industry. We know and understand that the number of units registered in the industry, in that specific industry, is significantly higher than snow. But from an automotive standpoint or motorsport standpoint, that is definitely something that we're putting a lot more resources into. So in 2024, we released two new maintenance products for the automotive industry that's crossover applicable for power sports. But we're also working on some Jeep accessories and some aftermarket accessories for vehicles as well.
Right on. Denon says he had no idea you did marine stuff too. He thought it was just sleds. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. And I actually grabbed some of those marine bunk products that you have perfect. From your photos. Yeah. They caught my eye too. And I know like like I said, there's MX, there's ATVers, there's boaters in here. So it's pretty cool. Chris Watson says, nice. I'll be redoing my garage floor at the end of the season and looking for solutions. So wait till you see some of this stuff. It's pretty slick. Pretty slick stuff. And that's the thing. Someone recommended epoxy, but the epoxy will peel after a while. This stuff won't. So how durable is the flooring and all your products for that matter? Oh, it looks super strong. Like what kind of testing do they go through?
Yeah, it's a great question. So all Caliber products, I shouldn't say all of them, about 99.9% of our products cover or come with a lifetime warranty versus part failure or manufacturer defect. So when it comes to the products that we do have a couple of consumable items for some of the drivable kits, like the sled wheels. The wheels, they're a consumable. They're basically a tire that comes on the kit. And then some other items that are steel components that, have a shorter warranty span on it. But a majority of our products, the glides, the traction items, the flooring for the garage, the sled wheels, the dollies, the marine products all come with a lifetime warranty.
Right on. If you need hardware, like as far as the screws go with those little spacers, is that something you can order from Caliber on the website, or how does that work?
So right now you actually can't purchase directly through Caliber's website, but it is an agenda item that we have for 2025 is to open that up for consumers to be able to purchase some things directly from us. But a majority of the time, when it comes to things like that, we will still facilitate like hardware purchases and small things, items that dealers or distributors might not typically carry.
Yeah, I got you. So you could go to
Yeah.
your dealer, and that's the best way to handle if you need something right away.
Yep,
Do you
correct.
have a
And then
dealer
it's-
locator on your website?
Yeah, we sure do, and it does cover the United States and Canada. It's about 7,500 dealers strong, I believe. So it's pretty large, and that does include everybody, from the motorcycle shop down in Texas to the snow dealer in northern Northwest territories.
Very cool. Yeah, outdoor hobby guy loves the lifetime warranty, 100% Caliber. He just did his trailer trailer up through the summer.
Okay,
So
very
it's
cool.
pretty good.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, that's good. Like I said, you're well known in the industry, and I think it's almost like McDonald's. You know what they do without really explaining it. When people say Caliber, if they don't know, they're not real snowmobilers in my mind.
Well, that's great. That's great to hear. I mean, we like to think that we have, that type of brand equity and that type of awareness. But seeing it first front and center is awesome.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. Seeing is believing. So I think
Yeah.
we should probably just get right into the fan photos. And if anyone has any questions, by all means, just shoot them up in the chat here. Greg will answer them right away. And we'll go from there. But if you are watching this on Facebook, just and you want to join the live chat, just hop on over to the YouTube channel, MUDBRATS, and you'll see it playing live on my channel. And you can click on the chat, and you can post comments on Facebook as well, but it's a lot easier to join and see the chat going on. We have about 44 people in the house right now in the live chat. So it's a fun time. There's lots of conversations going on. So if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you hop on over to YouTube and join the fun. So here, I'm just going to run the banner, and then we'll get right into fan photos, and we'll get right into your photos as well. Fan photos are brought to you by Fast Track Snowmobile Traction. This season, quit sliding sideways on the ice and losing races to your buddies. A Fast Track stud kit will help you with improved braking and give you the arm-ripping acceleration you crave. I put over 3,000 clicks last season on my Renegade 850, and I'll tell you, these studs exceeded my expectations. Not one broken stud. My idle wheels still look like new, and they hooked up like I was on rails in the twisties, inspiring confidence every ride. Fast Track Top Gun kits are the highest rated stud kit at 4.9 stars with over 230 reviews. The studs are heat treated stainless, so they are strong and they don't rust. The kit is lighter, easier on the track, and has a lifetime warranty against breaking. Each kit comes with a track-specific template for complete balance with over double the scratch lines from stock templates. All listeners, when purchasing a stud kit, can get a free install kit, a $30 value. Visit fasttrack.co, add both products to the cart, and use the coupon code SNOW at the checkout. That's fasttrac.co.
Said easily.
All right. Here we go. So Chris Watson's become a regular, better than Massart. Chris Watson sends his stuff in before noon on Mondays. So he goes, hey, Gary and Drew, more fun in the garage. My brother will be leaving his trailer outside during the winter, so he decided to build a makeshift cover. $68 worth of wood and a cover was built. It takes two people to put it on and off. Personally, I would have just thrown a tarp over it. The last picture, he said, you may know this guy. So we'll go through the pictures. That's the tarp he built, tarp cover.
Nice.
And he said he was at a dealer and he said that QUALIPIECES had a booth set up, and he was very informative regarding carbides. And he talked me into getting a pair of Rush carbides to put on the outside of his skis. And it's Mike from QUALIPIECES.
Nice.
Yeah, I miss that guy. We had a blast at the Toronto show with Mike, and glad to see he's making his rounds. That's great. I know he was close to us in Air a few weeks ago too, so I missed him that weekend as well. But yeah, thanks for sending those in, Chris. That's awesome. And then Rob Overholt sent me in photos of his grandson's first ride on the ATV. He's got a little video here of him riding along. The kid's having a blast on that. I don't know whether he said anything on in the copy here. My grandson just loves this. My grandson just loves this. I started teaching him how to ride the ATV in the summer. He still has a lot to learn, but it's a start. Hopefully next summer he'll be able to ride it more and then start looking into a mini for him, a mini snowmobile. There you go. Look at him ripping there. There's a good picture of him. Do you have kids, Greg?
I don't. I have a fur kid. Yeah, I've got a couple
good.
of fur kids.
Yes, we got a picture of your fur baby there,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
That's great. They're sometimes harder to deal with than real kids, though. Let's be honest.
I mean, scheduling wise, I mean, it can be demanding for sure. I got a good partner though, so that's important.
Odie, the sled and car guy, sent me this. He says he's all ready to go for the season. If he can't snowmobile, he might as well golf. So
Indy.
Look, he's got his MUDBRATS sticker on the side.
Indy SP650 Matrix.
Yeah, it's nice.
Great machine.
Yeah, can't wait to ride with him. There he is golfing on the golf course. But yeah,
this is this photo here is from Massart. He sent these in last minute. This is him working on a 94 Formula STX here. He's putting a reverse on. I believe Massart, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is when you're looking for a reverse off a 94 Summit, so you could swap the chain cases over. I think that's what the whole deal with that was. He was trying to get one at Heydays at least. And then the next picture is here's just a typical night with the boys, I suppose, working on snowmobiles.
Yeah. And I can tell if anybody's watched right to the end of my Heydays video, because there's a scene there of Massart. I don't know whether anybody needs explanation on that or not.
It's a little hard to see what it is.
You can put it in the chat if you want an explanation on Massart at the end in the dark. I'll gladly explain.
Look what Wisco just said. Massart's currently watching the pod while driving. I'm scared for my safety. In his truck, you should be.
Yeah, those two are crazy. So anyway, we'll know if he if those two clowns watch to the very end. Wisco was in the end too, but Massart was even funnier. And now we're getting into the caliber stuff. And like I said, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So let's Massart's laughing in there. Let's get right to this. Well, I think
the wrong computer.
Wrong computer. We start with some of yours.
Sheet angles.
Yeah. So what are we looking at here?
Yeah. So that was I think that was out in Togedy. That was a couple of years ago. But yeah, that was a fun sled. We still have the sled. It's a 2020 850 Chaos, but it's got a full pipe set on it. So wide pipe, muffler and can, some lightweight rotation stuff. It was like 195 NA, so like it screamed a little bit. It's a fun sled. It's a fun sled. But yeah, it's a little bit of spring running. Yeah, 155. Yeah.
Slash, you said?
No, it was just a regular Chaos, 850 Chaos. So before they had the slash, it was still on an Axis chassis.
Oh, okay, yeah. Nice.
Right on. Yeah. Did you do a lot of mountain riding then?
I try to. The last couple of years, Minnesota hasn't been that great. We got a lot of rain last year, but it's surprisingly enough, for being in the snowmobile industry, I ride a lot less than people would think I do. But try to go west as much as possible.
Yeah, that's a problem with being in the industry. You can't. You're working in the snowmobile industry. You can't get into the out and ride as much as you wish, right?
Yeah. Unless it's like weeknights and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Where you get home from the office and you go take a, 45-minute ride or an hour ride.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this a tarpon?
No, it's kingfish.
That's a kingfish, right on. Where was this caught?
Yeah. So that was off Puerto Morales, I think, just by Cancun.
Oh, nice.
Oh, sweet. And how many do you catch like that? Is it once in a million, or is it you can reel those in all day long?
It really depends on how you're fishing and when you're fishing. So they have seasonal fishing down there, just like we do, whether it's like walleye fishing or stuff like that. So we were kind of trying to more or less bottom fish for some like some fish that we could take back to the resort and cook up. But I mean, you're getting pretty regular hits. I mean, we got like 7 or 8 fish into the boat in like 4 hours, 6 hours, something like that.
Right on. Someone
Nothing
says
big, though.
king mackerel.
Yep.
Is that the same?
Yep.
Is it the same? Yeah.
Yep.
Right on.
Yep.
Very cool.
Oh, I know what track this is. He doesn't, but I do. He doesn't know what track. I know what track this is. That's awesome.
Yeah. So this was actually this summer. So I'm the marketing manager for Caliber. So sometimes I have the luxury of getting to go some pretty cool places. And for this year, we we partnered with Indian Motorcycle Racing for the King of the Bagger series. So they've been running. Yeah, they've been running Protek flooring for their paddock the entire season, or ran the Protek flooring for their paddock the entire season. So it gives them a nice space to be able to work on top of, at the races, before races, between races. So I got the opportunity to go to Laguna Seca this summer. And boy, it was a surreal experience, that's for sure. So this is just outside turn 1. So
Yep.
Very cool. And are you a budding photographer? Are you pretty good at it, or are you just kind of, you got your finger over the lens there?
So I was actually so I do some videography for us when I can. So it's a passion by default, I guess you could say. It's something that I've grown into. It wasn't necessarily something that I was a hobbyist for when I first got into the industry, but it's definitely something I've grown to enjoy.
That's cool. Do you do the product shots that we're going to see too?
Yeah, most of the photos that you're going to pull up, are photos taken by me. Yeah.
Very good.
Cool.
They're really well done, man.
Much appreciated.
Very good. Yeah. Keep hitting the wrong computer.
Oh,
look at that.
That's the little guy. Yeah, that's Roscoe.
That's awesome. Roscoe, I love the name.
Matt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's a little ball of energy. He's awesome.
Yeah. That's very cool. So was my sled. It was a ball of energy, and it would bite you too in the bum.
Well, we're kind of in the shot there. That's you can kind of see Roscoe in the back, but that's my girlfriend and I. We were out doing some trail riding in the side-by-side earlier this summer. That was his first experience in the side-by-side. He ended up puking in the back, so that was a fun cleanup. Yeah.
Oh, no.
And we had no idea. We had no idea until we got done with the ride, and we're like, "Oh no, buddy, sorry."
Yeah. Oh man, that's something I keep saying, Drew. I want to get a side-by-side so I can take the dog out for a ride. Right. I just think it's so much, like, you're a snowmobiler, so you can probably relate, but I think it's more of I think it's more of the lifestyle of a snowmobile. Like, you know what I mean? That feeling of, going places and, enjoying it, kind of thing, where ATVs are just, you putt around and you get stuck in the mud, right?
And dirt bikes, you age yourself 20 years every time. You age yourself 20 years every time you throw a leg over one.
That day there, it's crazy. I mean, we were in the side-by-side for like 3.5 hours, something like that, and we only rode 4 miles. Not even 4 miles. It was like 3.5 miles. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, so many little switchbacks, and you're like going up. Like, it was crazy, but it was fantastic. It was a great day.
That's cool. Yeah, that's something I gotta try for sure. So now we're into the product shots. I thought these funnels were collapsible funnels were pretty genius. We have a few pictures of them. How'd this come about?
So this kind of started from our new automotive business development manager. So a couple of years ago, we hired a new business development manager to take on the automotive segment. He had been in the industry for several years, worked for multiple different companies. And this was one of the products that he kind of had as a brainchild, and it's a flexible funnel. So coming from the automotive industry, it's, when you think about funnels, they're difficult to store. They're hard to keep clean. You can't really take them with you. If you do, they usually crack or break, and there's a problem with them, right? So these are a collapsible magnetic silicone funnel. So they're chemical resistant for power sports and motorsports fluids. but they collapse down. They keep sediment and debris out of the funnels, and they're easily stored, so you can take them with you in a go pack or in your glove compartment, your car, basically anywhere you need to take a funnel.
That's cool.
That's a cool design.
So is that the magnet right there that I'm pointing
That
at?
that's one of them. Yep. So even if you go back to the back picture, the first picture, so you can see that there's a funnel right on, or a magnet right on the inside. Or if you look at the photo,
it's kind of right. It's on the lower part, right.
Yep.
I can't.
Yep. So there's two sets of
right there.
Yep, there's two sets of magnets on each funnel. So one that basically holds the body shut, and then one that holds the top shut. So you can see on the upper left-hand picture the magnet holding the body shut is on the left-hand side of that, and then the other magnets are on the top side, as you can see in the right-hand picture.
Very cool. Yeah, and we'll just
I appreciate the vehicle, Ford Focus ST you're using for these.
Yeah.
Good choice.
How do you know that?
You can see it.
You can see it on the engine cover.
Got a Ford Focus ST. I know what these look like.
Yeah,
sounds like
it's not an RS, but it's still cool.
That's cool.
So
great idea. I want one. Chris Watson
Yeah.
says that's great. Those funnels are awesome, very slick. I thought so too. It's one of those things that, you know, I was going through the photos and I went, this picture caught my eye because it's like you could actually fold that up and put it in your backpack. You know what I mean?
Yep.
For doing injector
Yep.
oil, that type of thing, or tuck it in the bottom of the sled, the belly of the sled, or
Yep.
in your back bag if you don't lose your back bag.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's genius. Like, look at that. Look at the magnets. And I didn't know those are magnets. So it's very good.
And it's like a soft, like rubbery kind of material.
Yeah, so they're silicone. Yep. So
Yeah,
they're
okay.
chemical resistant silicone. Yep. So they're available in 3 different sizes. That one there is the small version. That's for like short neck applications. So like brake fluids or adding coolant to your overflow reservoir. The one before that, the yellow one, is the medium, like the general purpose, all purpose, and the purple one was the large funnel. So that's for like heavier flows. So coolant, washer fluid, fuel into a generator or a snowblower, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do all your dealers have these products? Like, if you were to Royal Distributing here, would they sell this product?
So we just
I
released.
didn't even know you guys made it.
Yeah. So that's another new product for 2024. We just released those for distribution. Yep. So they actually should be at retailers or available through retailers here in the next few weeks.
That's cool. It's called Flex and Fold.
Interesting.
Motorsport Channel says, do you design all these products, or do you have a team?
Great question. So we have 3 full-time engineers on staff, and some other people with engineering backgrounds. But we do have a new product development team, and there is some influence from other individuals inside the sales and marketing and new product development team or engineering team that do contribute to this. But this was a primary brainchild from our business development manager, Zach, down in Arizona.
Yeah, that's great. What do they retail for, if you don't mind me asking? Do you know?
Great question. So I can give you, I could pull up pricing for Canadian dollars, but the at US MSRP for the small, medium, and large are $8.99, $9.99, and $10.99 respectively. Yeah,
that's cheap. Yeah, that's that's fine. I just you don't need to do the Canadian prices. It's that's very affordable, very cool. So this is some of your flooring product. Is this a product that you'd need for your garage floor, or is it something different? There he is.
We have a visitor. We have a visitor. Hi, buddy.
That's awesome. Very docile.
He tried to climb up on the chair.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't hit
sorry, say again?
As long as he doesn't hit disconnect. No, I was wondering, is
right.
this the same product that you recommend for garage floors, or is this a trailer specific?
Yep. So that's Protek. So that there is installed. So the one of the cool things about the Protek flooring is that it's a plank. It's not actually a square compared to a majority of the other options that are available on the market. So they're 9x18, which kind of gives you a little bit more creative freedom when it comes to doing the installation. So you can snap 2 of those side by side and kind of do like a traditional checkerboard, or this is like the smaller checkerboard style.
Yeah, that's right. More rectangular.
Yep.
Very cool. And there's using it as a full square checkerboard pattern.
Yep.
And how impact resistant are these things? Like as far as I've seen carbides tear apart. We were over at Furries on the weekend, and I think he had the person that was in there had the other guy's flooring in this trailer, and the carbides ripped it right up. Like how durable are these things?
Great question. So it was a great question. Somebody also kind of posted earlier is like, what kind of testing do we do? It's all product subjective. So with the Protek flooring and Protek XT, so this is Protek XT that's pictured in the photo here. So we have two different tiles, but basically what we did is we simulated 12 to 15 years worth of loading and unloading or usage in a single spot when we did our testing. So it was exaggerated, so it could probably be a little bit higher than that. And that was based on average usage. So I think it was like 20 trips a year, or like 20 loads and unloads a season, right? And that was kind of based on some VOC or some consumer feedback that we got, like how many times do you ride a year, how many times do you transport a year, etc. Got an average. But when we did our testing, it was in a single spot. It wasn't, left side of the trailer, right side, loading wherever. It was in a single place.
Yeah. On a garage floor, can a car go on top of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the actual crush strength, or the PSI strength for the flooring, is about 3,200 pounds. We've tested it well over 1,000 PSI, and just for numerical purposes, a standard car or truck only has a ground load PSI of about 30 to 40. So that kind of gives you some comparison. Yeah. So load dispersion on the tires, even like skid loaders or like tractors, often only have a ground load PSI of about 10 to 25, depending on the wheel setup, tire setup. So it's significantly strong.
Yeah. Wow. So if you're running a track like Mini X or something on this with metal tracks or a bulldozer, it won't harm that plastic.
It shouldn't. The metal tracks, depending on what type of engagement you have, if they're slipping, stuff like that, you might see some surface abrasion. But as far as product upkeep, it shouldn't be any issue at all.
Yeah. And I think what Chris Watson just said about studded tires, and the main thing is, would a studded snowmobile track rip that up if you wrapped it too hard, or an ice ripper or something like that, right? Something like that.
Yeah, so totally understand the question. So the answer is yes. I mean, if you basically did a brake stand with a studded snowmobile on top of the flooring, you're going to chew it up, right? We all know and understand that carbides and studs damage concrete and asphalt, right? Which is significantly stronger than this stuff. But as far as material wear is concerned, we know that we've done enough testing on it to understand what the longevity of the product is, even under standard usage, right? And even if something does happen, we have a lifetime warranty, like we said, versus part failures and defects. And that also includes, standard use, basically wearing through a product. We know and understand the longevity that the products have. So if you do end up wearing through a product, we'll typically still replace the product at that point in time, because it would be deemed a failure.
Right on. I like this question from Mike. Like, it looks porous, right? Is it sealed? Correct. Like if you spilled something on it, like do you have to seal, if you have a wood floor in your trailer, do you have to seal it first before you put this product on, or is it good?
You don't. So all products made by Caliber have under channels to be able to wick moisture, drain moisture, and be able to dissipate that moisture, so you don't have to deal with that deterioration, the deck rot, things like that. Now, could you do that as an added step or an added measure for protection for the interior of the trailer prior to installing our product? Yeah, absolutely. There's no drawbacks to added protection for the interior of the trailer, right? And before Protek, it kind of gave people a way to customize the look of the interior of their trailer too. But yeah, so it doesn't require any sort of sealing underneath it. It does have drainage. I did see that somebody commented earlier about drainage or water trap underneath the flooring. You won't have issues with that. It'll go where, gravity takes it, more or less. And it will allow the moisture to dissipate or evaporate from the trailer. So this is actually our workshop. So people asking about garage or shop application, this is a good representation of that.
Right on. If you drop your 10 mil on it, will it fit through the cracks?
It will not. It will not. It might still disappear, but it's not going to go through the flooring.
Yeah.
When buying this product, back to the previous. So obviously, because you've done a design in the floor here with like the different colors, do you just buy it by the square, or can you buy it in a kit and get a discount? Like, oh, I wanted 5 red squares and 10 gray squares because I'm going to do something like this. Like, how does it work when you buy it on your website?
Great question. So right now we have it available in 2 different kits. We have an 8-pack and a 24-pack, and on the website there is a tile calculator of sorts, right? So you can plug in your square footage or your dimensions, and it's going to give you the kit quantities that you need. And then based on that, if you wanted to, do a checkerboard pattern, you just divide those numbers in 2. Or if you wanted to, change up your color installation. As far as like buying individuals or how that might change in the future, it could definitely be a potential option, and also more or less like pre-canned designs that you can choose from, available through the website, like the checkerboard pattern. I don't think you pulled it, but we have like a herringbone pattern that you can kind of do. This is more of like a mosaic kind of tile install. We've done some other cool, I can actually shoot, I don't know if you'll be able to pull it up on you can
share your
call.
screen too if you've got it on you can share your screen too if it's I did have a question. The reason I was scrolling through photos is going to answer, it's kind of going on what Corey's asking here. Are they screwed down, or can you replace a piece of the tile floor if one's ruined, or do you need to take up the whole floor to fix a tile? It looked to me in the one photo that they were kind of snapped together.
Correct. So there was another question that somebody asked earlier too about oil. So if oil, like we talked about before, the floor is porous, or it does have pass-through holes for drainage, right? So if there is oil spills or anything like that, you can basically take like a gasket pick or a flathead screwdriver and pop up a corner of the tile and basically be able to clean out that spill out from underneath the flooring. And then as far as the fastening is concerned, and that's one of the primary differentiators between this product and any of the other products that are available on the market, right? This product was designed and optimized for trailer installation, but can be used in your shop or your garage, right? So each of the individual 9x18 tiles has 18 snap connection points, which is more than any other tile that's on the market. It also has 9 countersunk and recessed fastening slots for you to be able to secure the flooring to the deck or the garage floor, depending on how the product is going to be used. So it allows you to utilize the product as a fully floating option, a partially floating option, or a fixed option, depending on what's going over the top of it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the picture is in there showing all the colors and the tabs on the edge. That's kind of what I was looking for, but it's out of order. I apologize for doing that. So,
It's okay. It's okay.
Jacob Masser says, Gary, it's my birthday on Thursday. Gary, it's my birthday on Thursday if you want to get me anything, Jacob says.
One other thing on the fasteners too, there is we know and understand that studs and carbides can be an issue when it comes to loading and unloading, and like our legacy products, the glide products, the traction products, the screw heads are more or less protected. And we wanted to make sure that we maintain that with this product as well. So when you secure the tile to the deck or the floor, it's like we said, it's countersunk and recessed. So when you snap the next tile onto the first tile, it's actually going to cover that fastener as well. So it's almost like an invisible fastener when you secure it to whatever floor surface.
Very cool. Chris says, in the middle of my garage, I have a drain. Will the water be able to flow through to the drain?
Yes. Yep.
So very cool. And then this is another product here. Again, these might be out of order. We might have a few that are going to pop their head in here, and then there'll be something different after it. But yeah, Lepoinski says, great looking flooring. I love it. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a question. Do you just cut it with normal wood saws, a table saw, jigsaw, skill saw? It's a great question, Corey.
All the above. All the above. So, and it is a great question. So, all of our products are molded solid. So, that's one thing that also separates us from a lot of other competitors is that if you do have to cut or miter or modify our products, they're molded solid. It's not going to jeopardize part function and it's not going to jeopardize product warranty. Same thing with the flooring, the Protek flooring as well as when it comes to snowmobiles or power sports vehicles, a lot of the other manufacturers, and not to talk ill of their product, but a lot of the other manufacturers in the industry, they mention in their warranties that if the tile or the product is cut, it'll void the warranty on the product, and that if there's any abnormal surface damage to the product, they won't warranty the product, right? So, and that's from like a typical automotive or garage tile, in which we've seen customers use in different applications for power sports vehicles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike says, do I have to drill holes in my concrete floor?
You shouldn't. So the biggest thing with the fasteners, it comes down to tie down channels, full length tie down channels. That's where it becomes more important, and the surface on which you're installing. So if people are familiar, like Nudo flooring is like a laminated plastic plywood that a lot of trailer manufacturers use. Plastic on plastic is really slick, right? So in those types of installations, you'll typically have to utilize more fasteners than you would in a traditional OSB or a plywood deck floor, right? Because there's more surface tension. Full length channels, tie down channels really impact the number of fasteners that you have to use. Because the more square footage you have, the less pieces you have, the more surface tension there is, the more weight there is, the less likely you are to require fasteners for the installation.
Good info. Yeah, so here we are looking at the ATV tie downs. You had this on display at the show, and I just couldn't believe the quality of the straps and the ratchets and
thank you
and the fastening points on this thing. Like, I don't think that vehicle's going to go anywhere.
we hope not. We hope not. So these are another new product for 2024. It's the Trailblazer tie downs. These things are super cool. This is actually like a brainchild of that I had brought to the table. Of an alternative tie down method for ATVs or UTVs. Now everybody's familiar with tire webs or tire bonnets, but the real thing that really separates these is the adjustability and the versatility. You can't really see it, but on the front side of that tire, there's actually a slip buckle. And what that's for.
I think I've got a close up. Is that it there?
Okay. So yeah. So no, that's not the slip buckle, but that's one of the primary adjustment points. So the biggest thing with these particular tie downs, with these particular tie downs, they're adjustable from a 25 by 9, which is a standard front ATV tire, all the way up to a 37 by 12.5, 35 by 12.5, 37 by 12.5. And each assembly has a 3,300 pound working load and an 11,000 pound braking strength. So these single tie downs can be used all the way from your ATV all the way up to a full size truck or SUV, right?
Right on.
Yeah. So the cool thing is that there's 2 adjustment points. On the back side of the tire, you can see that one there, and then on the previous photo, that's on the front side of the tire. And that sets your tire diameter, right? And then the red strap, which goes around the top, which is the halo, those feed around the backside through that slip buckle. And essentially what happens is the straps tighten around the tire and over the tire at the same time. So when you have the suspension wanting to unload during transport, it wants to chatter side to side, right? That's the problem with the majority of the tire bonnets or the tire straps that are available today, is that if you go over the top, you don't have any sort of lateral stability when the suspension wants to load and unload. And you also don't have enough downforce on the tire as well. So we came to the table with these. Obviously, we know that the traditional halo that goes around the top of the tire and pulls outward can cause strain on suspension components, hub components, things like that. Attaching to the chassis of the vehicle can cause premature failure issues in your suspension. or cause those straps to detach from the vehicle, which can obviously cause a big safety risk. But yeah, these have been a really popular product for us, and we're excited to see what kind of opportunity there is for them in the future.
Because it cradles it kind of cradles the tire, for lack of a better word.
Correct.
If that tire were to lose air going down the road, it's still going to hold it, because it's kind of around. It's kind of almost like each wheel has 3 points of connection, right?
Correct. So it's an extremely secured hold on the vehicle. And one thing that's really cool too, so that even if you turn that assembly around and you put the ratchet on the front side of the tire, essentially what they'll do is pull the tire into the park stop, right? And when you see vehicles rolling down the road, they kind of chatter back and forth a little bit, which can cause, premature wear inside the transmission as well.
Yeah, right on. And did you say how much weight that, like if you have 4 of these on a vehicle, what kind of weights are we talking? You say full size. I know those, like Greg was saying, that looks like it might be a 40-inch. So that's a pretty big wheel. Like, do you have any limits as far as that?
So that particular tire there, that's a stock 30-inch tire. That's just a Polaris XP114, but up to a 37 by 12.5. And each assembly is rated at 3,300 pound working load, 11,000 pound braking strength. So if you have 4 of them on a vehicle, you're looking at 13,000 pounds, just over 13,000 pounds, and over 44,000 pounds braking strength. So
right on.
Lots. Yeah.
You can tell by the size of that, and hopefully you can see it in the photo, but that ratchet is massive. Like it's crazy, Yeah. I'm familiar with Ericsson.
Go ahead.
I'm familiar with Ericsson tie downs, and we use the great big straps for the carpeting and things like that at shows. And I mean, you see trucks on the highway with them, and they hold a heck of a pile of weight. And this thing's as heavy duty, if not greater than that.
I know when we saw them at the show, it's like you think you're trying to lock down like military APCs with these things or something. Like it's good stuff. Like we saw this at Heydays, and it was like, wow, that is different than the other brands have in terms of just the quality of the material.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Look at that. Oh,
yeah.
I think you'd rip your trailer tie downs off the bed of your trailer.
No, these are caliber.
Oh, those you actually make tie downs for them too?
Yeah, nice. I didn't know that as well. That eyeball.
Yep. So we make recessed D-rings, spring-loaded recessed D-rings. So that in the picture there, that's our stainless D-rings. But we also do have 6-inch mounting kits with double stud pair rings. So basically, what you can do is you can kind of adjust the position a little bit, and then take them out when you're not using the trailer for the side by side. And cool. Each kit does come with a storage bag or a carry bag when they're not in use.
Yeah, right on. And then this is something too that I didn't know you made as well. They're vehicle ramps.
Oh, correct. So this cool? is the So this was the second product to come out of the automotive department. Is the 20K maintenance ramps. And the cool thing about these is that they're actually they're rated for 20,000 pounds gross vehicle. Poly maintenance ramps or oil change ramps.
Very cool. Hey, what if you have a lowered vehicle, like with that actually looks like it's fairly low, that car that you've got on there. There's not much gap between the fenders.
What happens if what? Because he's asking, I think he's asking more for me. My car is slammed and I can't change my own oil. I have to go to a buddy's farm with a lift or a pit. So how accessible are they?
As far as
it's a great question. So you're talking about like low ground clearance vehicles. Right now, we don't have any additional accessories for lower, like real low ground clearance vehicles, like hypercars, supercars, stuff like that. These are a standard oil change ramp. They have a 17-degree incline. They provide 6 inches of vehicle lift when they're in place. It's a great question of what the lowest ground clearance is that we would recommend for it. But it's something I could definitely get back to you on. I think that when it's sitting on the ground is maybe like 4 inches off the ground, something like that, 3 or 4 inches off the ground.
Yeah, that Alternate TV says use boards up the ramp to Drew.
2x4s.
The last time I had to use a lift, I believe we used we had to make a step up of 2x4s. I think we used 3 2x4s to get it up on the lift. The last time I was at my friend's farm to get the arms under, and he's got like a pretty low profile lift as well. So
yeah,
that's why we're
crazy.
Well, I like those wheel chocks.
Yeah, the wheel chocks are
cool.
So do they strap into that kit?
They do. Yeah. So the maintenance ramps come with wheel chocks as well, and there's an integrated basically a chock storage on the back side of the ramp. So if you go to the previous image, I'm not sure which other ones that you have, but the chocks actually slide into those slots, those top slots right on the back side of the ramp. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. Don't lose them.
Yep.
Right there.
Yep, right on the back side of the ramp. Yep.
Yeah, I've got a picture of it. Oh, those are and it's kind of neat because you've got the caliber pattern in here as well, which is really cool.
Yep.
Right?
So that's another thing that we integrated into it was additional traction going up the face of the product. That's one problem that we saw pretty frequently, and I'm sure it's something that other people experience is a little bit of loss of traction. They're not necessarily the most engaging products when you try and drive up on top of them.
Yeah. How do you stop it from sliding on the asphalt?
So that's a great question. So we have integrated feet in the bottom of the ramp. It comes with 6 per, but there's additional locations for you to purchase additional feet and add more feet depending on the surface that you're going to be using them on.
Yeah, very cool.
Lepoinski says, "Yeah, I usually just go over the other side." Tell Austin to put his drink down then and tell you when to stop. That doesn't sound like anybody's problem.
Yeah,
that's great though. I love those.
Yeah, see there it is with the chocks.
Yeah, there's the chock storage.
Great idea.
Yeah. Very
so
clever.
You can see that when. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, so you can see that when we first tooled the product up, we actually were going for a 16,000 pound gross vehicle weight rate. So you can actually see that in the back of the picture there. So you can see it says 16K. So what we actually did is we went back to testing and found out or basically requalified the product for 20,000 gross vehicle. So we're actually 25% higher than what we originally thought that we were going to be from a safety standard, and it's an industry standard, right? It's something that we have to submit for, and it's 25% higher than any other competitive ramp that's on the market.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think they're cool too, just even for trailer work too. Pull your trailer up on it.
Certainly.
You got a single axle, that type of thing, right? So I just
Or
like
even
how
doing like a spare change on a double axle.
Yeah. It
drive my sled up on it and change my.
Yeah, I just like how it has the caliber look to it, right? Like it looks. You can tell that's a caliber product. I mean, it's
right.
It's pretty cool. The design with all the holes too. That's really neat as well.
I'm putting ski guides on that. I'm driving my sled up and change my chain case oil to get that stupid screw at the bottom.
Yeah, that's very cool. Do they clip together too for transport? Like or do they just haul individually like this?
So they do nest together. So they nest about, so it's like an inch, 3/4 of an inch. So if you stack them together, it only raises the top ramp by about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch.
Right on. Yeah, Sled Tube says
I saw that too.
Endless possibilities with those swanky ramps. Yeah. And, make a bigger version so I could jump my driveway on my dirt bike. A modular stunt ramp. Here you go. Comes with 1 year of insurance.
Bigger ramp, no insurance. Bigger ramp, no insurance.
That's right. Exactly. So you're getting tons of product ideas here. You're gonna be
waiving all liability.
Yeah, exactly. So here we are, the Rover, which we did a feature on it from Heydays. Which is pretty cool. Yeah.
We're pretty excited about these. They've been very, very popular so far this fall.
Again, I think the wheels are the heroes here. The rolling resistance and everything on them is very low. Like they roll really easy, and you can see they're durable as anything, right?
Yep, certainly. So really what we wanted to do was we'll dial this back. So I'm not sure how many people here are familiar with like our sled wheels and our TRAC wheels, our drivable dolly kits. We constantly had questions from consumers, from dealers, from reps, from customers all over the country and all over the world saying, hey, can we finally have like a 360-degree option, right? And we're like, all right, fine, we'll hit the drawing board. And this is where it came. You know, and when you're talking about traditional casters, you have to, you know, inject some creativity and some ingenuity into the product. You can't just be another Me Too product for the snowmobile casters, right? You can go to Harbor Freight, Canadian Tire, wherever you want, and get a $45, $50 set of casters, right? But that's not what we do, right? And what we really wanted to do was, you know, create a whole new spin on the traditional caster and how it interacted with the ski. So if you go back to the photo before this, the biggest issue with traditional casters is that you're relying on the carbide to keep the caster in place or keep the snowmobile in place. And depending on what you're using, it's 4, 6, 8 dualies, whatever you might be running. But the amount of actual surface contact that the carbide has on the dolly is very, very, very small. So as you can see in the lower left-hand corner of this picture, it completely changes how it interacts with the ski. So the ski is actually supported by the 2 outside parts of the platform with rubber pads on top of it. And what that does is it increases the surface area or surface contact and increases the grip that the platform has underneath the ski. And because when you're not relying on carbide contact, you have more engagement, right? The ski is more likely to stay there. So as you can see too, the keel actually suspends up to 2.5 inches inside that center channel. So regardless of what ski type you have, whether it's a trail ski, a mountain ski, an aftermarket ski, or a stock ski, this thing is gonna work for up to, you know, even like the powder pros, like the 10.5 or 11-inch skis.
Right on. Yeah. Mike was asking if it rolls as good on your caliber flooring as it does on concrete.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So I can actually, I'll see if I can send you a couple of items here while we're.
Sure. And while we're on the topic of that flooring again, Chris asked about that flooring earlier. Does it have to be installed wall to wall, or can you just use a small area enough to drive a sled in?
Both. So it's not required to be installed wall to wall. But in that scenario, if you're doing essentially like a single stall, that might be a scenario, Chris, where you might want to anchor the floor. Because when you pull the snowmobile in, there is likelihood for it to move, depending on the amount of square footage or the weight that you have installed in the garage.
Yeah. And Chris said this looks nice. He has a garbage can full of casters that don't work and the wheels are all jammed up. And like Corey Brock says, that's why he bought a set of yours, is because most of his are missing the wheels.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say, well, when the bearings on the, you know, when the actual bearings on these wheels are bigger than the Harbor Freight wheels themselves, then you know that you're getting a good product.
Yeah. So that was a big thing, right? And we talked about rolling resistance, and somebody else asked the question: these are a 3-inch polyurethane overmolded caster with dual ball bearings. So there's ball bearings in the post, and there's ball bearings in the actual hub. So the rolling resistance on these, especially on a smooth concrete floor, is like butter. And what we can do too is I can shoot Gary a link here for one of the videos, and you could probably pull it up.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've rolled these things over grass. A sled on grass. We did it down at the New Hampshire show. We've pushed sleds into trailers with them. Like dead sleds or sleds that we did. Like we were in an indoor convention hall, and they're like, you can't turn the snowmobile on. And we're like, all right, we'll just push the snowmobile into the trailer with the wheels on it. But these completely change how the snowmobile interacts with the traditional dolly.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I was saying to you, the show, I welded a couple of the Princess Auto or Harbor Freight ones, And
Yep.
again, they work better because they don't flip as soon as you hit a crack in your floor, but the wheels
Yep.
are worn out on them. Like it's almost a point of frustration when I seen these at the show. I like the fact that you can see in that photo that's up right now that the center of gravity is below the wheels, right?
Correct.
Like it's at the axle, so you won't
Correct.
get that that tendency for them to even want them to flip. And then the other thing with the other style of casters is the straps are just like this little cheesy Velcro cloth thing that won't even go over top of the newer skis because they're not long enough. And I mean, these have 2 rubber straps. It's on there.
Adjustable. So
Yeah.
sorry, I don't know if you already mentioned, have you tested these wheels on, especially talking rolling resistance, because it's all weight and ski, right? Have you tried these on things like the Skidoo Expedition or the Polaris Titans, like the really heavy front end wide skied snowmobiles?
Yes, we have. So one other thing that we've also tested these for, because each platform is rated for 500 pounds. We've also done some preliminary testing with ATVs and side-by-sides where you actually jack the vehicle up and place the vehicle on top of the platforms, and then you have the ability to move your ATV or your side-by-side around. That might require a different material blend for the ATV or the UTV pace product, but it's also stuff that we've done like some preliminary testing for like pontoons as well.
Yeah, right on. Nice.
Yep.
I love that.
So 500 pounds. So if that's 500 pounds a roller is what they're weight tested for, right?
500 pounds per platform. Yeah. So if you have 3 of them, you have 1,500 pounds. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Can you get these right now at dealers? Like you launched them at Heydays. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So they're available right
now. So they were actually available earlier this year. They were available earlier, like late 2023-24 season.
Yeah, right on. Corey said it would be cool if you could lock the wheels straight so you could drive with them.
Yeah, sled wheels.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difficulty is if you either have a casting set or you have a drivable set. That's really what it boils down to. We had done testing when we first developed the sled wheels where you would have like that option where it was like almost like a bird leg wheel that came down, so if you needed to, you had that additional stability. But it's really difficult. You can't get casters to want to go straight, and you can't really get fixed axles to want to turn, so it makes it really difficult.
Yeah. The All-Terrain TV says Gary does like to take his sled into town sometimes.
No, we don't take the new units into town. We don't take the good ones from Energy into town. We take clapped out in the garage out there into town with them. But yes, still.
Sled Tube says, "What's the discount code for the dolly set?"
I believe it's that long string of numbers on the front of your credit card, the 3 on the back. Expired date.
Just drop them in the chat so everybody can get a set.
Yeah. It's 100% off coupon.
Yeah. All-Terrain TV says it would be. It looks like a great thing to move an ATV or side-by-sides without wheels on them. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah. And that's like we talked at the show about how you could mix and match both your sled wheels that hook over the skis, which we're going to see, and this kit. And then you even showed us a bigger, which I didn't put in the pictures today, but the larger track platform that you had. So
yes,
I think we have. Yeah, so that's a great shot of the wheel kit there on a CNA Pro ski. So if you've got CNAs, when you got the new Skidoo RX,
big thick keel,
or something like that, then even the blades, there's a nice shot of them too. Like I said, it's got that caliber look to it. It's you can tell it's a quality product. Like look at the bolt, the way the wheels bolt on. I was really impressed with them.
Yeah, so those are the rubber pads, the top features. And this is the TRAC platform. So if you can kind of toggle back and forth, but the platforms themselves are the same. The wheels are the same. The rubber features on top of the platforms are what's different. So you can see on the ski platforms, you have a flatter surface. What that does is it increases your surface contact, increases your grip. increases your coverage, increases your engagement on the bottom side of the ski, right? And then the additional straps over the top for additional ski security. And then on the next slide, that is your track dolly, and that sits perpendicular to your track, right? So what happens is those ridges actually interact or engage with the lug of your track, and when you set your parking brake, that it's almost impossible for you to get that thing out from underneath it.
I don't remember from the show, but the height of these, like, would they be the same height as your traditional Harbor Freight ones? Are they taller or shorter? Like, as far as getting the sled up on them.
Great question. So the rear is going to be a little bit taller because you actually sit on top of that, right? But the fronts are actually, they're about the same height. And the cool thing about the front dollies when you're placing them under the skis is because of that, the depth of that channel, right? You don't have impedance from the carbide or the keel of the ski, right? So when you place it underneath it and it's basically sitting at the same angle of the ski, the rubber pads on the top of the platform actually kind of grip the bottom of the ski, and then you can just drop the ski back down into place and it'll position itself.
Nice. What's the warranty on the straps and the components of these dollies?
Same thing as everything else. Lifetime warranty versus manufacturer defects and part failures.
Yeah, right on. Perfect.
And I
Corey
did send
says
you a couple of clips.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Corey says they roll really good. He was working on a sled. It was moving all around yesterday, working on it. LOL.
They will move for sure. The rolling resistance on them is crazy. It's funny. We were actually down at the Novi Snow Show a couple of weeks ago, and we were playing a game of like snowmobile shuffleboard before the show started. So we would kind of push the sled and trying to get it to position itself like in between two cracks in the concrete. It was pretty fun.
Oh, that's hilarious. Might be a new game for lodge sessions, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we don't get any snow, we'll just do it out in the parking lot. I'm just loading up your videos here that you sent. So we're firing them over to the other computer. We'll pull them on after except that one.
I have to go like this. Just read it quick.
Yeah, and they're both Rover videos.
Yeah. I can't get that one to save.
Save.
Just hold on. Oh. Yeah,
Mike has a good comment. Warranty demonstrates their confidence in the product. Well done. That's Mike. That's Mike Ashby from Ultimax Belts. Say.
Oh, right on. Perfect.
Very cool. So. Thanks, Mike. We appreciate that.
He knows about quality with Ultimax belts too. So
sure does.
Yeah. Did I send that over to you?
No, you didn't send the video over. You did. I don't know how you saved
okay.
it.
Just hold on a second here. I'm just figuring this all out. I got folders upon folders. We'll get them up here though. It's all good.
I think you saved it just as an attachment to like some random.
No. It went in here under new images. Right here. Right? There's two.
There you go.
Yeah. All right.
Sled 2 asking for a discount code for the Ultimax belt.
Everybody wants. Yeah.
I heard if you go rub the sticker on your toolbox, they appear.
Yes, they just appear.
You gotta watch the video.
This is kind of cool. It shows the actual construction on the bottom of them. I take it that's for strength, is it? All the ribbing?
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Corey Brock says, I'll say the far best product that has saved me a few times is the edge guides, which we're going to see pictures of as well.
Yeah. Priority number one.
Yeah.
I guess got to get rid of this notification.
Yeah.
Jeez. Louise.
Pop that open. There we go. And there it shows the lugs in the track here. It's kind of a good shot.
Yep.
Again, I did a video interview with Greg at Heyday, so you can check it out where we actually go through this and he takes a sled on and off them and shows them this. So yeah.
So that'll work. So that's actually a Powder Max, right? A 2-inch paddle track on that right now. And that looks like it's holding pretty good. So
that's a 2.6. So that's a Series 8 2.6. Yep. So that's one. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say that the trail tracks must lock in those really good then. Like
Better,
just like
yeah,
inch and a quarter,
better than the mountain tracks for sure. And that's one thing that we can certainly add is this can be used for off-season storage, but it wouldn't be recommended for anything over a 2-inch lug, and that's simply from a lug compression standpoint. If you have a deeper lug and you wanted to do a long-term storage, we would suggest you look at our TRAC Saver, or the TRAX Wheels 2.0, which is what Gary was mentioning, the more robust version of the rear dolly caster.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and that's it. Here's the flooring picture I was looking at. I thought I put it up earlier with the other flooring, but going back, you can see here the little tabs we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. So those are the countersunk and recess fastening slots. So in the center of each of those connection points, you can add a fastener. It's not required, but if you cut the tiles, modify the tiles, anything like that, you can certainly use those fastening slots. And one thing that we didn't talk about earlier as far as the design of the flooring for trailers is each of those squares is a 3-inch square, right? And when you're talking about doing a trailers are built in 6-inch dimensions, right? So if you're trying to do a particular design or cut the trailer or cut the tiles to fit your trailer, everything's going to be in a 3-inch or a 6-inch increment, right? So you can actually snap the tile down that seam either way to create, a smaller tile for your trailer. So it's functionally based on the dimensions of a trailer, but can be used in your shop or your garage.
Oh, that's very cool. Mike Ashby says the Ultimax Advent trailer is equipped with Caliber products. Thanks, you go. Mike. And I think Greg could use some dangle power too on his mountain sled there on his Chaos. Didn't look like his skis were up high enough.
I don't think I had enough bite on that Polaris factory belt.
That's right. You definitely didn't. And this is pretty neat. So I know we're familiar with super clamps, but this is your answer to that. And look at how much more robust these things are.
Yeah, certainly. And it's, I'll tell you what, it's lighter than it looks. That's important. So it is a little bit heavier than the super clamp, but that's for good reason. The primary thing when it comes to the clamping force of any sort of tie down is vehicle security, right? So we've added some additional strength and rigidity into this product, which makes it 2 to 2.5 times stronger than the super clamp, right? So when it comes to actual clamping force, before failure, we're about 2.5 to 3 times stronger than the super clamp.
That's wild. Is it a metal core or is it all plastic or poly construction?
It's a great question. It's all plastic, aside from the actual the tensioning mechanism and the hook itself. Everything else is plastic. So there's basically a small carriage on the inside of the housing there, and it's fully serviceable. So if there's any sort of wear components or any issues with the product or the interior of the product, it's all serviceable by an end consumer. It kind of goes together like Legos, and then the 4 screws or the 6 screws go back on top.
Yeah. Yeah, and there it is there. That's the thing. You can see how rigid this thing is. I mean, if you're talking about a sled deck and hauling it like that, you want something more robust like this, I think.
Yeah.
It has certainly 2 levers. It has 2 levers. What is the inside lever for?
So that's actually a grab handle. It's an ergonomic grab handle. So the other thing that was priority number 1 was adjustability and usability off the sled deck or the trailer, which is what you see here. So that's actually the adjustment mechanism for the clamp, and it's lefty loosey, righty tighty. So if you've used super clamps, and we're not going to knock it, they make a great product, but there's a couple of things that needed to be tweaked. I mean, we've used them for about 10 years until this thing was available. So we're very familiar with the product. But a couple of small things that really differentiate the Clamp Pro from the Super Clamp is, like I said, number 1 is adjustability and usability off the sled deck or the trailer. Adjusting a Super Clamp after a long day of riding, whether it's on a trailer or a sled deck. If you don't grab the right one or you put it on the wrong snow machine, it's a pain in the butt. So this, you simply just crank that dial left or right, and it changes your ski clamping tension. Like I said too, is it's about 2.5 times the clamping force of a super clamp. And that actually had to get geared back down. So we changed the mechanics on it just a little bit. Initial testing, we were over 1,200 pounds of clamping force before failure, which was a lot. We didn't think that people necessarily needed to go that high. But a couple other things were, serviceability. Another thing is the ski pads. If you go back like 1 or 2 photos, I'm not sure what you have next. One more.
Oh, there.
That one
yeah,
right there.
pads,
So that's another thing too, is one thing that we noticed with super clamps was ski stance variance, right? When you're using a tie down device, you want to make sure that it's applicable for all machines. That's one thing that super clamp kind of lacked with dimensionally, was ski stance variance, and then the overall length or the width of the clamp too. Is if you're on an 8-foot trailer or an 8-foot deck, you can't put super clamps side by side. You have to stagger them a small amount because they're going to hit each other. That's not an issue with ours. Ours also has over 8 inches of additional ski stance variance as well. And one other, I wish I had a mouse here. One other thing too is that rubber pad. One issue with the super clamp is that it was just a small rubber pad that was secured with 2 or 3 or 4 flange washers on the bottom side of the clamp. And you could almost peel the thing off, right? With the Clamp Pro, there's actually a small ridge around the end of the housing, and the rubber pad actually slides onto that flange around the outside, and then is secured up from the bottom. So it's almost impossible for you to get that rubber pad off, and it also insulates the end of the clamp, right? So if you're tossing it in the back of the truck or it falls off the truck, something like that, you have additional insulation around the ends of the clamps so they don't get beat up or broken.
Very cool. Corey asked, does Caliber make a rear clamp?
We don't right now. We do have our retract straps available, our retractable ratchet straps. But right now, I mean, it's something that we've talked about, but it's not something that we have available for you right now.
Yeah.
One other thing on the clamp too is the ergonomic handles, and this is kind of like a personal thing. Is, every time I used a super clamp, because they have like a pistol grip, right? The actual lever mechanism is a pistol grip, and every time I would go to close it seats down into the housing, and you feel like you're going to smash your fingers almost every time. And when it's cold out, you've been riding all day, it's the last thing that you want to feel. So both of the handles that are on the assembly are ergonomic, they're glove friendly, they're large, right? So you don't have to worry about, having any issues as far as grip is concerned. And when that mechanism closes, your hand doesn't come close to the closure mechanism. It's raised above the mechanism.
Well, you know what I like about this, just looking at that tensioner knob, you could use with your gloves on. Even the handle is more aggressive. So
correct.
Like, I like to run a lot of pressure on my super clamps, and when you're pulling that little orange lever, you can see the things bending. Like you can't when something's bending that much. It doesn't have the holding strength. We actually had a trailer eject from us years ago, and both sleds went through the super clamps right through the nose cone. It was a open trailer. And it didn't hold, and I always, every time I pull those clamps down, I always think, I bet you that's it. Like they're so beyond tension that they can't hold. Like they can't have the holding strength, right? So
you know what else I like about these a lot? You know what the most annoying part about super clamps are? When you're trying to adjust them in your, like we're talking on a sled deck, doesn't matter, in an enclosed trailer, you can't reach that adjustment point. That being right at the handle, you can reach that on any point in the sled because it's in the middle. It's in such a good spot, or it's on the outside.
Well, you can imagine
on your deck.
Yeah, can you imagine on a sled deck reaching in to grab that that center point. You know, that's
Yeah, it's you either have to take the clamp off or you have to physically be on top of the deck or on the trailer, right? And neither of those scenarios, it's cold, it's slippery, it's dark. Usually you're tired, you're fatigued. The last thing that you're thinking about is like, oh gosh, do I have, like safe footing on top of this deck when I'm trying to adjust my clamp? It's not necessarily the first thing that you think about. So it's really the added element of safety and efficiency that we're really trying to go after.
Yeah, for sure. I think what you've done is taken a good product and you've made it even better, right?
Right. And that's really what we try to do. I mean, if you can make a Me Too product or make something that's similar to what's on the market, but if you don't bring, some novelty or some ingenuity to the product, you're creating another Me Too, and that's not what we do.
Yeah, no. This is I see this as that's a great shot to show how robust that is. And again, I'm in the way. But here I can get rid of us up here. If I just pull this off. Oh, no, that doesn't get rid of us on that one. But yeah, you can see kind of how robust this unit is. It's pretty awesome. And again, from the side of a trailer or side of a sled deck, it's accessible, right? The other thing is I ran curve skis last year, and the sled had to be right in the exact spot in order to get the super clamp onto them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so these would have a bigger footprint, so it would actually fit right over the whole ski, right?
Right.
It's hard to explain unless you see the curve.
Unless you've gone through it. Unless you've gone through it, like that small margin of error in between, the cradle for the spindle and your ski loop. It's a very finite range that you're working with.
Yeah. I designed and we 3D printed something. We never actually used it, but I designed and 3D printed a block that you would hit your ski so you knew where to stop for the super clamps. I'm not even because it had to be such a specific spot. We're like, let's find a specific spot. I'll just make something in CAD and you can just fire it in the trailer and you hit it. And
that's awesome. That's awesome. It's like a tennis ball in your garage.
The tennis ball on the screen. Exactly.
On the trailer. That's awesome.
Yeah. We had the tennis ball in there, but the dog kept eating.
Corey just asked again, what's the cost of these?
Like comparable to a super clamp, are they the same or
they're a little bit more expensive. So the reason why is that the super clamp is sold for the same price in the US as it is in Canada. So not good for Canadian customers, but good for US customers, right? But MSRP on the product is, I think it's $319.99 Canadian, I believe. I rate around $300.
Horribly more expensive. I mean, you're getting a lot beefier of a product, right?
Yeah, and I mean, US MSRP is $229.99, and which is actually cheaper than the super clamp in the US. But you go across the border, he doesn't charge a different price. He doesn't do any sort of exchange.
I gotcha. Yeah.
And then so it's good for you guys, not for good for US customers.
Yeah, that's right. So if you have this looks like a traditional super clamp tie down that's in the floor, or is that your own? Like, will it work with somebody that's already got the super clamps?
Yes. So there could be some small variation just because of the amount of throw that is there, but each clamp does come with a standard 4-inch, 1/2-inch bolt, like the through bolt, the deck mount bolt that comes with it. We also have additional accessories for like a 6-inch L-track or O-track that you can put on the enclosed trailer with a double stud anchor, like adjustable anchor, as well as a T-style or T-slot tie-down channel anchor accessory as well.
Yeah, very good. Your products, like, are they made in the U.S.? Like, do you manufacture in your plant, or do you outsource that?
Yeah, we certainly do. So we manufacture. So we started out as an injection molding company, and that's our bread and butter. But we are expanding certainly beyond that. But we do have a 40,000 square foot manufacturing facility in Burnsville, Minnesota. When I started with, we do. So when I started with the company in 2016, we had 4 injection molding presses. With our highest capacity, I believe was 315 or 400 ton. We now have 11 injection molding machines, and our highest capacity is 818 ton.
Wow.
So we can mold up to a solid 12-pound plastic part right now.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
and that's good to know that you're not having these made in China or whatever. Like that's why you have control over the quality, and everything does have that fit and finish and that caliber look to it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yep. So we do have some videos on our YouTube. We are also an ISO 9001 compliant company. So when it comes to consistency and quality in the products that we manufacture and produce, it's something that you can rely on. And it would be difficult for us to put a lifetime warranty on a product that we didn't know could withstand the rigors of snowmobile users. I know everything that all you guys that are out here watching this do. You guys are not easy on stuff.
Oh no, and that's the thing, right? Like
what's that supposed to mean? Hold on.
It says we want to know one, right?
Yeah, it does. Real recognizes real for sure. Yeah, I understand.
Well, I think it's important. That's why I showed that picture of you riding, because we love it when our guests are true riders too,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that you say that, because it like, just going back to the Clamp Pro example, the owner of the company is a 6'5" southwestern Minnesota farmer, right? His hands are massive. So when it comes to making things quote unquote glove friendly for stuff, he is primary example 101, right? He wears like a 2X glove and has giant hands. So we have to, he's like, guys, it doesn't fit my hand. And we're like, all right, Ernie, we'll make it a little bit bigger.
We're going to have a lever this big on
it's like, for some people it might take 2 hands, but we'll make sure it happens.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So because the guy even put All Terrain TV said a few minutes ago, he said Beaver Mitt approved.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. So I mean, that's the biggest thing, is like when you're like when you have cold hands and you want to get done, you want to get loaded, you want to get home, whether it's you're 10-15 minutes away from the house at the trailhead, or you're a couple hours from home. The last thing that you want to do is be messing around with stuff that isn't working or needs to be adjusted or is causing problems during the loading and unloading experience.
Yeah, I'm not welcome on the show anymore. Like, look at this. I'm covering up all the product.
Yeah, it looks like I need to get some like.
You're a great photographer, but can you start
left or right
to the left side of the frame?
Justify it a little bit more. Yeah. Like, hey, Greg, if you're coming back on the show, we need some like left justified photos.
I can push it over more too. I have to figure this part out. Yeah. This is only my 5th season and my 115th show. So I'll figure it out one day, but not today.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, these are the sled. Well, what are they called? I can't remember the name.
Sled wheels.
Sled wheels. Yep. What a great name. They're wheels for your sled. Crazy.
Yeah, they sure are. So this is our drivable dolly kit. This is something that's been out for several years now. I think we launched these in like 2017, 2018, something like that. They've seen some small revision changes over the last couple of years, but these things are sweet. They're a fully drivable kit. They're adjustable, fully adjustable for any ski up to 9.5 inches wide. Drivable up to 12 mile an hour. Getting your little Vanna White going. I love it.
Yeah, that's right.
Drivable up to 12 mile an hour. You can load and unload them out of in and out of your trailer. They're fully secured on the snowmobile. They're a sweet product.
Yeah,
they're cool.
Have they gone through a McDonald's drive-through yet?
We can arrange.
I heard that's the sled. That's the #1 sled wheel test now.
It hasn't gone through a McDonald's driveway, but we did have some ambassadors that, unbeknownst to us, took them at about 80 or 85 mile an hour on a back road in Idaho last year. It may or may not be Boondock Nation, and you may or may not be able to find that video on YouTube. Anyways, a little plug for those guys. It was posted before we knew about it, so it was more of a ask forgiveness instead of permission situation. But you can see how they did. You can see how they did. No, the biggest thing as far as drivability on them is they don't have a bearing in the wheel. They do come with grease, axle grease for the axle bolts, but it's primarily supposed to be for your shop or your garage zone in and out of your trailer, stuff like that. It's not meant for long distance rides or anything like that. Similar to some of the other products that are available on the market.
Yeah, can you drive up a ramp with these on, or do you have to actually take them off?
Like a trailer ramp or a loading ramp?
Like if you have the trailer, like my door of the hybrid trailer flips down, or I've got the Caliber product on it, can you leave those on and run it right up the ramp?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing that we recommend in that situation is if you have like the beaver tail at the bottom of the trailer, or if you have the Edge Glides 2.0, making sure that you don't have any sort of like large transitions where the wheels are more or less going to be impacting that surface, because it kind of point loads on the hook assembly at the front, and that's what can cause issues. But if you have like the beaver tail at the bottom, the Edge Glides 2.0 installed at the bottom and the top, you can certainly run them in and out of the trailer. If you don't have either of those, we just tell you to take a little bit slower.
Yeah, right on. That's pretty cool, because that's one of the things that we find even with the roller skis that we use. Like we have the actual roller skis you can drive on.
Okay.
I always say to Drew, flip them up, because I don't want to go over I don't want to go up the trailer, because I don't know that they might be the same diameter as those wheels, but they have bearings in them. Like
like the Ruskis.
They're like a Ruski. Better.
Okay. So, gotcha.
Yeah. So, no, it's cool. It's cool. And that's the thing. It's like, this is a product that I think is cool in the moving your snowmobile around. Like I always call it garage management, right? And like that's the thing. Even if you have a set of those, like to combat the problem that Corey was talking about, where it's rolling around when you've got the side panel open, putting an Ultimax belt on or whatever, then it's not going to be push against the wall or anything. It's only a forward and backward lateral movement, right?
Right. And that's, the inefficiencies of this product is more or less what drove the ideation behind the Rover 360, behind the 360 dolly. Is the biggest drawback to this product right here is that, hey, if I wanted to push it 6 inches laterally behind it, I could not do that. I would have to reposition it multiple times to get it to move that 6 inches, right? Where with the Rover 360s, you can laterally push it right up against the wall.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Greg Kelly says he's got him. He drives up his trailer ramps, no problem. Very cool.
Thanks, Greg.
I love that too. Actually. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. No, very cool. Yeah, there's a better shot that I'm not really blocking. I'm only blocking the ski hoop. Oh, this way.
Other way.
There we go. No, that's great.
We should make you wear a green hat.
Yeah, I should. I
just go like that.
Yeah, I should just get a green wig and pull it on.
And you just go like this every time you need to get out of the shot.
That's a good point. That would work well. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a little bit clearer shot. So
bearings in them, or do you want to avoid that expense and that risk of people thinking they can go down the highway on them?
So it's a great question. It's not something that we looked at, because this wheel is actually an off-the-shelf wheel for us. We do make this wheel. We do the hub molding, we do the over molding, but it's a product that we also use for one of our marine products. Just a different coloration, different material. But it's a wheel that's actually seen in floating PlayStations for PWCs.
Yeah. Okay. That's very cool. Oh, that's the. I thought I had more.
Yeah, you have the photos.
Oh yeah, so we got other photos we can actually pull up here of the. Here, let me just get this off while you load.
Yeah, so that's. I'll expand on that a little bit too while you guys whip those up. But Caliber is very involved in a lot of different industries, right? Caliber and our sister company as well. Our sister company is called Elastec. They primarily focused in rubber products. They work with companies from wall beard trimmers to Caterpillar to Yeti to Aaron's lawnmowers to BRP and Polaris. You know, rubber components and rubber accessories on those products, but we also are very involved in automated car washes. So that's something that not a lot of people are familiar with. We actually make the drive belts, or the belts that actually pull the vehicles through automated car washes. So like you throw your car in neutral and it pulls your car through the car wash. We do a lot of those belts as well.
So if you have a lousy winter like last year, it doesn't really hurt your business because you've got other interests and other, you know, facets and niches that you can tailor to.
Well, it definitely still has an impact. There's no question about that, but we are doing what we can as a company that once started as a snowmobile transport loading and unloading company to diversify the products that we're creating. And I think a lot of that has to do with the influence of the individuals that are coming into the company.
Yeah.
You know, the owner is a diehard snowmobiler, doesn't really do a whole lot of side-by-siding. He does a little bit more now that he's, you know, getting a little bit closer to retirement, doing some more off-roading and some overlanding and stuff like that. But, you know, more influence from the automotive market and the on-road market and the off-road market are coming into it and sparking a lot of creative ideas for new products that solve problems and create solutions.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, and they're doing a good job of it. So here we got some more stuff queued up here. Let's
Yeah, that
see
should
what
be
this
the
one. Yeah.
the product video. for
You
the
sent this
Rovers.
first. This was just a zoom in on the wheel. Oh my
Are we
gosh.
It should have been a link.
Oh, I have the video that you sent too.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's a video. Yep. I don't know whether
That's on grass. That's amazing. Oh, and then that's the other rear dolly there too.
that's
on the
very
back.
cool.
Yes,
that unit, right?
that's the TRAC wheels 2.0. Yep. And then I thought that should have been a Dropbox link for that last thumbnail that you showed.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
it might be there. Yeah, we can see if we. Oh yeah, so it was a movie, a Dropbox link, but how did I'll grab this here. Keep chatting, Greg.
Yeah,
And I'll
certainly.
grab it.
I'm just checking the comments and stuff here, seeing if there's anybody.
Yeah, they
asking
wanted you on
questions.
early. They said they should have had you on earlier. And did I not try, Greg? Come on.
You know, no, he did. He's been bugging me. He's been bugging me, but for good reason. So I mean, we do tons of shows throughout the fall, and it makes it really difficult to find times on a Monday evening to spend some time with you guys. But we're definitely glad that we were able to find time and make it happen.
That's why I really appreciate it. You
Yeah.
doing this and putting that coupon code out for every.
Hey, whose credit card was that supposed to be?
Yeah, that's right. It's Mike Guliz. Guliz. Yeah. So here, let me just clean this screen up here. But while we do this, no, that's very cool. And then I'm missing a few. I thought I had your marine products in there. I don't know how I missed.
I thought you
that.
did too. I thought you said that you had some.
I did.
trailer
I
bunk
thought I
stuff.
cleaned them up, but maybe I didn't in the end. But I can fire them in there if you want. People in the chat ask some questions here. I just need a few seconds to turn this video over to here. So it's yeah, I don't think that's finished downloading yet. And we got a new internet here. So it's working really well. I'm pretty impressed with it. There we go. That's going to come over. And here, while I'm doing this, I'm going to pull up some of the marine images because I know I have them. I just for the warranty stuff, do you go back to the dealer or contact the Caliber direct?
So for warranty processing, we actually have a portal on our website. Typically, we like to handle all warranty submissions. Couple of reasons why. Priority number one is that typically if you have a product failure or an issue with your product, that's because you're using it. And the quickest lead time is going to be direct to the manufacturer. Number two is quality control. So if there's any sort of abnormal issues that we might notice or identify with the failure that you have, that's something that we can report to our quality team. But simply it's speed of response. A lot of companies require packaging or a proof of purchase or a purchase date or anything like that. All we require is a photo of the part and for you to submit a warranty through the website. If it's deemed a warranty defect or a failure, we pay for replacement, we pay for shipping, and we ship the product to the door that you put in that form.
Right on. Yeah, see, I'm glad you made me look for these things, Greg, because I found the MX ramp. I found
the actual
stuff.
ski guides that you guys make. The biggest thing that was I thought that was weird that he didn't get any photos. I wasn't going to question it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, legacy products, just new. Yeah, you went crazy through the new products folder, Gary.
I did. Well, you know what? It was almost like I'm looking at it. It is adult content, you know. It's like
it really is.
He arrived late and saw Corey. I had to close my browser when the wife walked in. I didn't want her to see any looking at caliber stuff again. He arrived late, but he saw Corey ask about trailer cabinets. Do you do anything like that?
It's a great question. It's something that we've brought up and discussed in some ideation meetings and some new product meetings in the past. I think it's a hot topic. Prefab aluminum cabinets are expensive. We've talked about potentially making, like modular style poly cabinets and like oil racks and expandable and things like that, so you can adjust, to your liking. It's not something that we have right now, but it is a great question. And it's certainly something that I can extend to the product development team for sure.
I think that's a nice movement or direction for, like you've got the flooring, let's get into the walls, right? I think that's
correct.
And even some of the trailers with unfinished walls, like an insulated panel or something like that, I'm sure you could vacuum form or rotomold.
Yeah, like a quick poly panel.
Yeah. Very cool.
Well, and it's not necessarily just the trailer either. When we talk about the floor to the wall, right? Is you're also talking about the shop of the garage now too with the Protek flooring. Basically, everybody that has a power sports vehicle or a trailer is going to have a shop or a garage too. So how can we at the same time expand that from the trailer into the shop of the garage?
Yeah, for sure. Make it like, here, we're giving you free ideas. Make it like Milwaukee Pack Out, where you can actually take it off the wall in your garage, put it right in your trailer. Hopefully your competition isn't watching this and gonna steal these ideas, on you. But
so this is the video that was sent. Now I'd like to mention one thing. This is the first BRP product that I've seen in a caliber thing. This is a link shredder, if I'm not wrong.
It is, yep. It's an RE. Yep.
Well, shame on you, Greg.
Oh, so there's the wheels in action. Awesome.
Yeah, that's the best part when they go over the crack, right?
So that's our manufacturing facility.
Okay, yeah. So that's
cool.
Right over an extension cord. That's great. And even the back.
I love that.
How many times have those casters already fallen off with a traditional caster?
Oh, yeah.
This is my favorite part. This is my favorite part.
Oh, yeah. Right up on a sled deck.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you'd bend the casters on the Harbor Freight ones for sure. Like you'd totally ruin them. Yeah. I love that.
The really cool thing about those is that you can actually load from the casters to your trailer door. Now, depending on if you have like beaver tails or edge glides installed, a situation like this where you actually have like a stop, you can actually roll the Rovers right up to the door, right, and actually transition right off them onto your trailer door or onto your sled deck ramp or your loading ramp.
Yeah, I love that. Very cool. Very cool. And then this is the boat stuff. I'm going to get out of this shot here because again,
too many center images. Yeah, so that's our bunk wrap. That's our lifetime replacement for trailer bunk carpet. I know that's a little bit of a point of contention in Canada is trailer carpet in the Department of Natural Resources and stuff like that, invasive species, body of water transfer, stuff like that. The really cool thing about bunk wrap is that it actually. How do I know that?
No, I said I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. No, it's so we have distribution companies in Canada, and we've heard rumblings at times of just a marine carpet being a point of contention for the Department of Natural Resources in Canada, because of invasive species, whether it's zebra mussels or milfoil, things like that.
Yeah, and the thing is, the carpeting doesn't last long. It wears out, right?
Correct.
So this is great.
Yeah, so this incorporates a lot of the technologies that we have into our trailer glides, but it's a lifetime replacement for bunk carpet. It's actually a 3/4 surround product and fastens on the underside of the bunk, but it actually has a lubricant that's built into the material. So it reduces the loading friction by up to 65%. Depending on the application. So it's, weight distribution, number of bunks, landing angle, water depth, all that kind of stuff all plays a role, but it does significantly reduce the coefficient of drag or the friction when you're loading and unloading the pontoon or the boat. It's also self-draining. So you don't have to worry about, same thing with snowmobile trailers is premature deterioration, bunk rot or floor rot. It's all self-draining, so it'll dry out, it'll breathe. It's also non-porous, so when you start talking about invasive species, whether it's zebra mussels or milfoil, they can't attach themselves to it or embed themselves into it. And I'm not sure how many people on here know, but zebra mussels can actually live outside the water, depending on conditions, for up to 3 days. So that's something, is if you don't see them, and you think that you've cleared the vehicle, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not still there.
Right. That's pretty crazy. That's a really genius product.
There's a better shot of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a great.
So that's on a PWC trailer.
Yeah.
It's Corey Seedoo.
Very cool.
Dad.
It is too, isn't it? Yeah.
Cool.
Going back to those the roller wheels, they're those ones. If the rubbers wore out from Carbides, would that be a warranty, or do you sell the rubbers replacement separately?
So that's a great question. I think it would mostly depend on how the part failed. It shouldn't be a wear component. Now, if you're running like a Pilot TX, that I think might be the question, or where that's coming from, is if you have like outside carbides. I think in that scenario, it would probably be a wear component. But we do have all of our components available for replacement, for sure. Yeah, that's a great question. And honestly, I haven't thought about it. It's something that we should address and have an answer for.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because outside carbides on Skidoo skis, a lot of people add them anyway, right? Even if they don't come on them, they drill them out and put them in, and away you go. So Uncle Buck says he can see these guides going on his pontoon trailer this summer.
Well, just like the snow stuff, this also has a lifetime warranty. So
awesome, right on. And there's a carpet.
So there's a before.
Yeah, this is before the carpet bump.
There must be an after shot. Oh, was this the after shot? I think
that is not the after shot, but the after shot for that one is it's pretty good. It's pretty impressive, like the before and after. Okay, well, like you can see,
I don't see the mounting
locations. Yeah, you can see the mounting locations on that boat trailer, like pushing through the bunks. You can see on the left side there, like the post is actually pushing through because of deterioration and bunk rot. But yeah, we did a full rehab on that trailer, and it's some of the pictures are actually visible on the product page on the website. So if somebody wants to go check that out, they certainly
can. I don't think I probably included them in the shots, the after picture that I should have.
No worries.
I was just dragging and dropping stuff, and I
get it.
Seen that.
I get it.
Yeah. So there you go. So the product is a solid piece. You get rid of your 2x4 wood, carpeted covered wood, and you put on the whole caliber piece.
Nope. So it's
Nope.
actually it's a wrap. So it's similar to like your carpet. So it uses nominal 2x4, 2x6 boards. And it comes in a flat
Yeah. Okay.
roll, and there's two sets of living hinges. There's one at basically each side of the bunk. So it comes in a flat roll, and there's two sets of living hinges, so it folds and then folds, right?
Oh, I
And
got you.
each kit,
Yep.
and then it fastens to the underside of the bunk. So the living hinge is that it actually allows it to be pliable, right? And then it
Nice.
basically forms right around the bunk and gets secured on the underside. And each of the consumer kits, or like the prepackaged kits, also come with Velcro straps, so you can strap the material to the board and slide them down as you anchor it.
Oh, nice. So that hinge, is it set for 3.5-inch width, or it can be any width of board that you've got?
So it's specific to nominal 2x4 and 2x6. So it's actually like 3.6 and 5.6 ish. It does not fit over carpet. We
Cool.
did have a previous version that
Uh,
fit over carpet. And so they
yeah,
come
you
in a,
wouldn't want to do that anyway.
16-foot roll. Yeah, because then it basically defeats the purpose, right? You're still trapping that
It
moisture
does. Yeah.
underneath the material. So then it was resized and reformed for nominal boards. How long
Yeah.
are the
Nice.
rolls? Depending on where you get it from. We have some dealers purchase 250-foot rolls, so they can do, by the foot basically. And we have our consumer packaged kits, which are 16-foot seamless rolls and 24-foot seamless rolls. So depending on your trailer or your application, it's usually about 2 bunk kits can do a single trailer.
Very nice. Yeah. Lapoinski says that's a great idea.
So I think we're
Yeah.
moving into some snowmobile products finally.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, there's
So
the
this is your
D-rings.
tie down anchor that I talked about, that we talked about earlier.
Yep. So that's one of the tie down anchor options that we have. That is the D-ring tie down. So they're spring mounted, or a spring loaded flush mount D-ring. Great option. We have them in zinc plated and stainless steel.
Like that.
Ooh, we like these.
Yeah, I love this
Edge glides.
this product here is a game changer.
Yeah. So I also call those sternum savers.
Yeah.
Sternum savers.
It-
Yeah. Yeah, these are the Edge Glides 2.0, and it's funny. This year at Heydays, we had an editorial stop by, and they're like, if you had to suggest one product specifically that every snowmobiler should install on their trailer, it was these. The Edge Glides 2.0, it's a transition protection. Obviously, it aids in the transition from the ground to the door and the door to the deck of the trailer. Obviously, back in the day before, snowmobile or snow purpose-built trailers, before they had beaver tails and stuff like that, this was a real issue. It was a really,
Yeah.
really, really big issue, and it is still today. A lot of injuries and a lot of damage can happen from this particular transition right here if they're not installed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I see these as 2.0 because they're wider too. Like you've got it's
Correct.
right there, the seam. So I must have the first version on my trailer. And I notice your hinges are different now too.
Correct. So one big, I guess it was point of contention from consumers, was the amount of assembly time that the original version required, with the stainless steel hinges and the nuts and bolts and stuff like that. So basically what we have here is an integrated hinge pin. So there's a plastic pin that gets installed at the factory after the parts are molded. So you basically have the assembled part, and all you have to do is secure it to the deck of the trailer. And we actually have the next version is coming out sometime in 2025. It's called the Edge Glide XL. And that's more for like utility applications, higher weight capacity, larger gaps, more of like a car hauler type product. They're 12 inches by 24 inches. These are 9 inches by 24 inches. So they're 3 inches longer than these. Yeah.
Right on. Is this the same product you put over the gap on the inside, like where the door hinges on to the back of the trailer? It is? Okay, perfect.
Yep, certainly.
Perfect.
So it is universal. And at that particular transition, this product can actually be installed either direction, from the deck of the trailer onto the door, or from the door onto the deck of the trailer. And one reason for that is when you actually raise and lower the door, the parts will kind of just push in and pull out, opposed to having to individually flip them.
Yeah. All Terrain TV says, will my tilt style enclosed trailer still seal with the edge glide? So he's got a clamshell.
Yep. So whether you have a fixed deck or a tilt clamshell, you would basically have to install inside that capture channel. There are some, perception issues that even if those are not touching the ground, that they're not going to function. But the biggest thing is protecting that leading edge. The ski should still ride up over the top of it and keep it in place and still allow you to flip that up and down and still close the clamshell on top of it.
Excellent. And I think, we can talk about, there it is on the inside. So I was wondering if that was the same product. So that's one thing our trailer's missing is we got to do something like that.
Yeah, actually, no fault of the product, but I have a set of the QUALIPIECES TRAC, which are like similar to the Woody's dual shaper. Square bar carbide. And because we don't have that transition, it got caught in the trailer. And when I yanked the bars to get it unstuck, it ripped the ski guide right up.
I can imagine.
Which was just my fault because it was like, it got caught in the new carbides, and I just gave it some throttle, went like that, and it just went, and it took the wood and your ski guide with it off the trailer.
Oh no! Oh no! Well, let's definitely get you some. But this we transition is where I was saying it could be installed either direction, right? So you can see how they're fastened onto the deck or the inside portion of the trailer. You can actually mount those to the door too, and then the product basically just floats as you open and close the door.
How's it not bump into the actual traction guide here?
So on how they're installed here, you would have to physically lift the edge glides. If it was mounted on the door, and that's because it's got low pro grip glides and some other traction accessories on the door. Now, if it was mounted in the reverse direction, everything on the interior of the trailer is smooth, right? So it would transition back and forward, right? Because it's the track scrabbers are a directional product, whereas if it's going down the door, it's going to catch all those traction points. One cool thing about these is that they also include rubber links that go on the back sides of the pieces. So then they're all able to flip as one continuous piece.
Yeah, I love that. You know what drives me crazy about not having a cover,
snow and ice
buildup. It comes right off your track, right into the trailer. I mean, this would save you a lot of sweeping and chipping away.
We broke 2 grooves. Doing the old to break the ice. Like you said earlier with your ski clamp, it's like end of the day, dark, you're frustrated, you're tired, and you just want to go home. And you're standing there in the dark doing this. And
it's the last thing you want to do. It's the last thing.
Michigan Rev says you just ordered a set of the Rover 360s. Perfect.
Thank you very much, sir.
That, guys.
For me?
We hope you enjoy them.
Michigan Rev, what?
How does he get the card info before we do?
Yeah, Corey said, that's right. Corey says you won't be disappointed. That's awesome.
Corey made a funny comment earlier because he said, I want to get the exact comment correct. He said something along the lines of it looks like his trailer that was stolen because he had every piece of he had a trailer a couple years back that got jacked, and he had every caliber product in that thing.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because the trailer that's in this picture was also stolen.
Oh God!
Really? Right? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right out of our parking
lot.
Caliber
products are that good.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess so. Everybody wants them. Everybody wants them.
Yeah, they even took it with a Polaris in it, you said?
Shoo-wee.
2. Actually, it had one. The trailer had 1 Skidoo and a boosted Polaris in it. Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted the Skidoo. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
No, that sucks,
I'm sure.
No, it does suck. It's not a.
And there's a prime example of where these. Here, let me move over. Look at that step up. If you didn't have something like this, I assume that's was maybe just an ATV deck, or is that how the sled decks are that big of a gap?
No, it's a standard 2-place Aluma tilt bed trailer. It's like their XT 10, 102 or 108 or something like that.
Yeah, right on. Corey says, great idea, Gary. I might have to do that for ice protection. That cover that gap, right? Sean Moser said, I installed them so the glides are just under the edge glide. So when I close the trailer, it does not catch and it just folds up automatically.
I'd like to point something out in this
cool.
photo as well. If you look over on the very far side, that's a side-by-side rolling up, or an ATV, sorry, rolling up on these glides. So they can take a punch. Take some weight.
So that's actually our low pro grip glide. That's our dual purpose glide. It's for both carbide containment and traction. So that's typically what we would suggest for any sort of incline or exposed application, simply from a safety standpoint.
These are the ones that we have on our trailer. Are these ones the double, like, because they're wide, and these are the ones that we have on our trailer at the door.
Yeah. And you can lock the two, like this is the newer version because it's a plastic hinge, but you can lock the two center ones together so they fold together, right? Like,
correct.
Pretty cool. I see the hinge now. Do you sell interior lighting? I might run lights off a bike battery, maybe a small solar panel. See, there you go. You got to come up with a complete interior solution, Greg.
I'll add that to the NPD list.
All-terrain, we did interior lights on our trailer, and what we did is we wired them into the parking lights on the truck. So when we do the remote start and we get back to the trailer, the lights automatically turn on in the back of the trailer. That's the trick.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You can even hook them up to your 7-pin, and there's a constant power there too.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Like,
so yeah, like that, this is very cool. And here's your edge glides as well. Corey had those, and I have another buddy that's got them in his 23-foot. And it's got the drive out the nose, so he's got them so that it guides a sled off the wall, right? Like,
so these are actually a different product. So these ones are actually a little bit taller, and they have incorporated grip in the bottom, like the low pro grip glides. So they actually replace that outside run. But the reason why these are taller is to prevent ski drive off or catching the cables, right? So we do have a similar product. These are called the Edge Guards, and then we also have the Flex Glides, which are the directional turnouts at the front of the trailer in both the high and the low version.
Yeah, that's catching those trailer wires, or that's a point of contention all the time, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
it's a safety thing too.
Yeah,
it's a safety thing too.
Yeah. You'll always catch them backing up in the dark.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so this is like the primary spot. You know, the idea really spawned from the front door. You know, when you're driving off that exit door, it's really difficult to contain a snowmobile when you're exiting that door, right? So a protective flange that also, you know, dual purposed as a glide for the ski was super beneficial, and this was the product of it.
Yeah, when you design a product like this, how long does it take for you guys to come up with the prototyping and the general idea right through to having something that you've got on the shelves?
It's a great question. I mean, it really depends on the complexity of the part. It's really what it boils down to. But to give you a good reference, like Protek flooring, right? We were doing preliminary, you know, market testing or field testing in December of 22, and we had a finished good in hand by like the end of 23. So about a year, we go from like preliminary testing through concept and design to tooling and production parts. It really depends. I mean, but it can be as little as 6 months to a year. It can be as many as like 2 or 3. It really depends on what the product is.
Yeah, right on. Good things come to those who wait, I guess. So yeah, that was one question I had. I'm going to get out of the way of this. It's not a piece that fits just on the edge. It's the whole guide that runs along. Correct. And it goes up. So that's one molded piece, right?
No, they're individual. So you can actually, they're tongue and groove, and they slide together. So you can see basically the groove on this end. And there's basically a male female, and they slide together.
That's so right. But this
12 individual
he's referring
pieces.
To the actual thing that contains the ski to the guide, like the
that
flat
the wall,
to the angle.
The wall
this is
and
all one
the
piece.
wall and the floor is the same.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yes. Like the 90-degree. Yes, correct. That is all one piece. So basically, what that does is when your ski is on top of it, it basically contains the snowmobile ski. So you can use that more or less as like your bearing point in a slick parking lot, right? You're always trying to get to that point where it wants to jump up onto the trailer door. And that's personally what I do is, I'll come in kind of on an angle and allow that to catch the ski to point me straight up into the trailer so you can load in a straight line.
Yeah. And also that means that, when you're using things like your clamp, you're always going to be far enough over if you're fitting a sled next to you too. Because if you go,
Correct.
I have to go right up to that, then you're always going to be in that correct spot on the trailer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
so that's really what it all comes down to is efficiency.
Yeah. I do want to point out for people that don't use this product or the Caliber products, this design here that I'm pointing to with the little nibs, you can steer as you drive into the trailer on these, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's it doesn't lock you in a groove that you're stuck where your sled is and you got to get in there and lift up the front end to get it over.
Correct.
As you're going in, you can steer as you go along on these. So yeah.
Yep.
Just
we
Fly Low.
We do have. Go ahead.
Just Fly Low says, great show, guys. Very interesting products. Got to go now. Good night. Yeah, no. Thanks for joining us, Just Fly. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Greg.
And just to dovetail off what you said, so these are some of the traction products that you're showing, and we do have smooth variants and more or less like train track variants that you can also choose from. It's one thing that's really cool about our products is like we started the show off talking about is we have products all the way from a segmented installation or a budget and cost-effective installation or economy installation all the way up to full coverage. You could do like a Cadillac installation where you have all the bells and whistles, full coverage front to back, you have transition protections, you have cable protections, all that kind of stuff. But if you just want to go like traditional traction products on the door and glides up through the body of the trailer, you can certainly do that too. And our configurator, our online configurator, is a great tool to be able to look at those different options in the products that are available.
That's actually a great point, because that's what I did with the Frugal Durer is I used the grooved ones. They look like they just look like little ribs
grip
in
glides.
A straight line.
Yeah, standard grip glides. Yep.
In that video, it's from a few years ago, but you can see it. It's a Caliber video. I actually show the website and going through that tool that you use to calculate what you need for your trailer. It's really handy. Yeah, that's awesome. This is great. It's like if you kids that played with Hot Wheels tracks and those little slot car race sets. This is where
100%.
Yeah.
Well, so this is actually one of the install that I did. The reason why we have all that tracking was for youth sleds, mountain sleds, and trail sleds. So
nice.
the different dimensions fit all those different types of options, right? So this is exaggerated. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
Working with different ski stances, it's a little bit exaggerated, but that's because of when you're dealing with that much of a variation in ski stance, you need that much adjustability or that much float for the carbides to be able to move around.
Yeah, very cool. I love that. Look at all the tie downs you put in there too. So that's like you're loading that trailer right up with as many sleds as you can put in there, and away you go.
Options of turning too. Now it would be not to knock the product, but God, if I had to put a dirt bike in this trailer, I think I'd just put it in the back of the truck. If I opened a guy's trailer and saw all these, I'm like, I'm going on my side putting a bike in.
It's almost too nice. It's almost too nice to drive on, right?
Like, I don't really want to crush any of this. I'd be going like this trying to get in. It's like,
see, with a lifetime warranty, you don't have to worry about that.
There you go.
Yeah. And a super chat from Corey. Thank you so much, Corey. $6.99. Get us a couple beers next time we're out. Great show. Love my Caliber products. Keep innovating, and gives you two.
Thanks, Corey.
Yeah. Right on.
I put a link in the chat there for everyone wondering the video that we were talking about where he does the Caliber stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. Ooh, this is a good shot.
This is good. Yeah, I love seeing it in use in the snow. And this is another good angle I'd like, because it shows you the lower profile on this piece right here.
Correct. So, and I believe that in the primary area of the photo is what you installed on that video, right?
No, it's not. They're actually long.
Were they multi-glides? Kind of like
they're
railroad
multi-glides.
tracks, kind of.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
gotcha.
are.
Yeah,
They're
those are multi-glides. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I regretted putting them in ever since. I wish I went for the super glide, right?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things, because you can't steer on them. And and I put the other ones on the door so you could steer up the door. And it was I've regretted ever since that I didn't put the other ones on.
These are the ones in question.
Yeah,
So
those are multi-glides.
Yeah.
So those are great for their specific application. Like if you have a really heavy sled or you don't have a sled that has reverse, by far those are going to be the highest friction reducing product that we have. But if you load on top of them, you're going to have to physically be able to lift the snowmobile to move them out of those channels.
Every time.
Here's him putting that's the first generation of the
the low pro grip glides and the edge glides, actually both of them.
I actually took the door off of my door had a big piece of plywood that folds down.
Yep.
I think I weighed it in there. I can't remember the weight, but it was like I saved so much weight when you open and close the rear door on my trailer, just getting rid of that big hunk of wood that hinged and putting on your little transition guides.
And the wood was rotten and it was heavy as heck, especially when snow and ice build up. It was such a pain that first year we owned that trailer.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's a good shot of this. Are they super glides?
So no, that's called our grip glide. That is our most cost effective glide option that we have. It's a segmented option. So the closer you space them together, the more traction or more reduction in friction you have. The further you space them apart, the less you have.
Okay, cool. That might be newer than when I did my trailer, actually. It's been
those are actually one of our older. The low pro grip glide is what spawned from those, was a full length continuous option, more or less. That is one of our older products.
Okay.
But they come with a specific installation distance or gap between them, and you can increase that or decrease that based on your budget, your preference, other things.
Yeah, right on.
So that actually it shows a really good view of the different types of glide technologies that we actually have. So we have Carbide Ride and Carbide Float. Carbide Float is like the multi glides, and these guys where there's actually no physical contact in between the carbide and the surface that it's riding on. We have a couple of Carbide Float options, and then we have a couple of Carbide Ride options, which is where the carbide actually sits on the surface or rides on the surface.
Yeah, very cool. Look at the floor. You've got that stain, and whoever this is has it varnished right up. I love it.
It's just melted snow. Like that's all it is.
Oh, is that
it's
right?
Just
it
moisture.
looks like it's varnished.
Yep, it's just moisture. Yep.
Wow.
It was that day was kind of like a light damp snow. So right when it hit the trailer deck, it just like turned into water.
Made for a great photo for sure. And that's the thing I can say about your product is when everything is iced up in your trailer and you've got chunks of ice that have fallen off your sled after it melts off when you first put it in, your products, it doesn't stick to it. It just, you can just sweep it right off, or, very little effort. So it's like, I don't know what magic, elixir you've dumped into the plastic mold when you're doing it, but it does the trick for sure.
That's called secret sauce at the warehouse.
Yeah, I bet it's slippery. I love it. Slippery to the point where it's, you get traction in your boots on these little nibs when you're walking out the door, but the snow and ice just glide right off of it.
To the point that it doesn't collect. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice setup there too. Yep.
It's the same trailer from before.
It is. Yeah. With all the different.
With all the flex glides. Yep.
Yeah. If you were doing like, if you were actually going to do something like this, can you calculate that on your website, or is that something a little more custom?
That's something that's a little bit more custom, and that's something you can certainly reach out to our technical line. We have multiple people that are riders, that are users that you can call in and talk to, that can give you guidance and suggestions on what you're looking at from an installation standpoint.
Awesome.
Right on. Yeah, good to know. And then here's the different widths that are available in, and here I'll get out of the shot again. But yeah, so
Yeah, so we have glides ranging from 6 inches wide all the way up to 11.5 inches wide. Multiple different versions, different applications, different features and benefits. It's all really specific to your application. That's one thing that's really cool about our product is the variety of options that we have. Whether you want to do a specific application or a hybrid or a specific installation or a hybrid installation, we have feature or products with different features and benefits that can really cater to exactly what you're needing from a functionality standpoint, right? One thing that we're really trying to do is not focus specifically on the snow customer, because so many snow customers use their trailers for side by sides or on road or for moving or for hauling or for storage and things like that. So having something that's versatile to cross and check all of those boxes is really important.
yeah, for the center where the two, if you're talking like an 8 foot wide hybrid, like I have in the center where
Yep.
the two skis are side by side, would you use an 11.5 inch, or would you still use 2.6 or 2.9 inch there?
Great question, and that's primarily going to be based on the vehicles that you're loading and unloading. It all comes down to ski stance variance, right? So the 6 inch
Yeah.
allows for 10 inches of ski stance variance, the 9 inches 15, the 11.5 is 20. So it really depends on what you're going to be using. There's really only one application where you can do what we call a 3-up installation, where you're only running 3 glides or 3 rows of glides instead of 4.
Yeah.
And that's typically only in a 7.5 foot trailer, but that could be impacted by the ski stances that you're running, right? So if you're running, 2 snow mountain sleds inside of a narrower trailer, situations like that.
Yeah, right. And that would be calculated on your site as well, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And it like the configurator, it basically it calculates or populates like a standard side by side or an inline trailer installation. If you have any questions as far as custom stuff like that, or you're trying to reduce the price that you see on the configurator by making some modifications or some revisions, like we said earlier, our products can be cut as well, so you can almost in with some products extend what you're doing or with the products that you're purchasing by making small modifications like cutting a product in half, right?
Yeah, right on. Yeah, and then leaving
make-
gaps between them, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So like the TRAC grabber is it's a directional product, and it is something that can be cut in half for like full length tie down channels. And one thing that we do is if people are trying to reduce some of the spend, we tell them to stagger the sides. So you cut them all in half and stagger them 50% each piece, and then you just reduce the amount of product that you have to install in your trailer for traction by 50%, right?
Yeah,
And that can
yeah.
be substantial depending on your trailer length and what you're trying to do. So if you're talking a couple $100 for an installation, that can be the difference between a customer choosing the product and not choosing the product.
Yeah, you got it. That's pretty cool. Well, that's the thing. I think that's what the guy at the show told me to do, and that's what I did. Was I left gaps between the glide pieces so that you don't have to butt them right up. It looks better when you butt them right up, but
certainly.
Yeah, this product.
Well, don't butt them right up next to each other. Minimum of 3/8 of an inch for spacing for thermal expansion and contraction. That'll cause buckling.
You got it.
I got your buckling.
Yeah. Yeah. If caliber was a category on Jeopardy, this guy would clean the house. Very knowledgeable.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I've been with the company for almost 10 years, so I hope that I know the ins and outs, but I appreciate the compliment.
That's awesome. No, you're nailing everything right on the money. I think I'm blocking another shot here, am I not?
Oh yeah. That's the catcher keeper.
Yeah, so this is the
MX Pro
motocross ramp, the MX Pro.
Yep. So the MX Pro is it was a purpose-built dirt bike ramp or a single track ramp. It's about twice as wide as the standard ramps that you'll find for a dirt bike or adventure bike on the in the industry. It's about 14 inches wide. Includes our low pro grip glides, the grip glides that you see in the picture there. That gives you traction for loading and unloading the bikes, as well as traction for walking in and out of the truck. One thing that you uncovered there was the catcher keeper, and it's actually got a pop socket kind of functioning part or product on the back side. You can see it on the right side of the bottom center image, and it's basically a male female plastic and rubber, what we call a pop socket or a catcher keeper. So when the ramp closes, it actually it secures itself, and it's about a 35-pound pull for you to pop the ramp open, right?
Oh, cool.
So with dirt bike ramps in the past, they flop all over the place, right? Like you go to set it in place and it busts you in the shin or smashes your fingers, stuff like that. This actually, we call it a pop socket because it holds the ramp closed.
That's cool. How much does that weigh when it's folded up, and then what kind of weight can you put on it? You mentioned
Great
adventure
question.
bike.
Yes, yeah. So the ramp itself is only about 21 pounds. Capacity on it is 600 pounds. So depending on what you're going to be loading and unloading, it's still got pretty good capacity. You can also use 2 of those for larger vehicles. So you can use 2 of them for ATVs. That's not something that we necessarily push the product for, but tons of people are looking for collapsible ATV ramps that they can slide underneath the unit and still close their tailgate, right? So we have other ramps that are available that are, you need a full length box to be able to fit the ramp in. But this serves a lot of those functionalities without having that extra length for the product.
Yeah, very cool. No, I like that. I love how it's the lightweight, and it's anodized aluminum too, so it'll stay shiny and clean the whole time. But this is another product I really love, is the slush guard.
Yeah, that's the PolyShield 3. So that's actually the trailer that you saw the edge glides on, where you were talking about basically that gap from the ground to the deck. It's a standard 8612. So it's a 8.5 foot wide, 12 foot long. Like that's a standard 2-place tilt trailer.
Yeah, very cool. Now, is that? It looks like there's some rivets in the center here, right there.
Yeah, so they're nut and bolt, but there are plastic caps that go over the top of those fasteners to keep them protected.
So is it 3-piece? So if you had a narrower trailer, you could put it on?
Yep. So that is trimmable down to a single place trailer. And it goes out to 102 inches. Yep. So it is something that you can modify for narrower trailers as well. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Rob Overholt's got to head out. He says, great show as always, Gary. Have a great night. 4:30 a.m. comes fast. Thanks, Greg. Greg, for all the great information.
Thanks.
Oh, that was it.
No, that's great.
I think that's the last one.
Yeah. Where did people find you? Shout out your website and your social media channels.
Yeah.
And that.
So you can find everything on our website at caliberproductsinc.com, www.caliberproductsinc.com, and you can find us on our socials at Caliber Products on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
Right on. Perfect. I'm just going to actually pop this up into the chat and put it up on screen for people to see. But we really appreciate your time tonight too, Greg. What a great show. We learned a lot tonight, and sounds like we've got everybody as pumped as I am about those Rover 360s. So
man, I'm telling you, like I've been riding, snowmobiles since I was the first sled that I can remember being on was an Alouette 74 Alouette 440 in our front yard. And my dad had that sled until I was in high school. So I've been riding snowmobiles for quite some time. Coming up on 30 years, and there's certainly some products that we have that are unbiased opinion, night and day difference from some of the other products that are on the market. Like, and that is definitely one of them. The clamp, our loading ramps, our glides. I mean, a majority of our products, but I mean that specifically being one, the Rover 360 is night and day different than any other caster that you're going to see on the market.
Yeah, that's great. Corey says, awesome show. Thanks for the great info. And Denon says, great show. Had no idea you guys made so much stuff. Lots of good information. I felt the same way when I was going through the pictures and I seen, especially the boating things. I went,
Thanks,
man,
Corey.
what a well-rounded company. I mean, you're using your resources to its fullest extent. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and that's,
but I won't.
you know, it's funny. Well, it's funny that you say that because it's something that we've really been, you know, trying to spearhead over the last couple of years, and I think that's what created a lot of the investment into the products that we're developing now. Is that, you know, even within our distribution channels, right? We still have this perception that Caliber is only a snow brand and only makes snow products, when we have products that expand way beyond that. And I know that it's not something that we touched on or talked about today, but like the new products that are coming for the automotive market on the Jeep side of things.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that we're putting a lot of time and effort into. And that's something that we've showed or displayed at SEMA over the last couple of years, which we've won multiple awards from new products and from editorial standpoint at the SEMA show for POWERSPORTS and Automotive.
I love it. Wow. Michigan Rev says, great products, great show. Great guests. Thanks for the show. Get some sleep, Drew, he says. Extremely knowledgeable, Lepoinski says. And thank you very much, Greg. Thanks, Buds, he says, for everyone in it. And Uncle Buck says, don't forget the discount code.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that's great.
So funny.
I won't keep you any longer. I really appreciate your time. We've been 2.5 hours. And what did I say?
Yeah.
Time flies,
Wild,
right?
Wild. Yeah. Honestly, it's crazy. Well, like, I constantly get this question of, you know, like what makes this industry so great? And, you know, we talk about a hobby or a passion, right? Like every single person that is in this chat today is a hobbyist, you know, and they're spending their discretionary income or their disposable income on something that they enjoy, right? So when we're able to have these conversations, it's relatable. It's so relatable. Like a lot of the people in this chat show and feel the same passion about the products in the industry and the sport and the activity that we do. And we're internal at the company. We're users, right? We're enthusiasts.
Yeah.
So it's that grassroots level connection where you share that passion, you share that hobby, you share those same interests. And it's like conversations like this that literally 2.5 hours time just flies by.
Oh yeah, for sure. We all have a sickness, Uncle Buck said.
It's called throttle therapy. That's the only thing that cures it.
That's the only cure. Guys like you make it great. Thanks for coming on. Mike Ashley says, great job, excellent content. It goes on and on, the accolades. This has been an awesome show. And again, I know I was bugging you. I left you alone the last few weeks, so you gotta admit that. So, but yeah,
no worries. We appreciate you having us on. I know, like you said, you've been trying to get us on for a while now, and I'm glad we were able to make it happen.
Yeah, I knew it was something my fans would love. I know, like I said, everybody recognizes the Caliber brand and knows what it means, and to just learn about some of the new offerings you have. I think it was well worth it to be on tonight. That's for sure.
Well, fantastic.
Thank you
All
again.
right, guys. Yeah, you're very welcome. Let us know if you guys need anything else, and we look forward to seeing you guys on the trail.
For sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cheers.
Have a good night, guys.
It's a journey.